Chapter 64. In a warrior's guild, the alarm rang loudly. Another deafening bell sound reverberated for a long time, spreading far and wide. Close to 100 small teleportation doors appeared in front of the warrior's guild. Elite human guards wearing gold or silver armor rushed over with a rumbling sound. Yu Yang saw a man whose entire body was covered in flames riding on a blazing lion. He flew through the air, bringing with him a huge ball of flames, and exploded into a large group of small monsters from hell, burning the surrounding area in a charred ground. Then he majestically jumped down from the blazing lion and knelt on one knee in front of the beautiful city mistress Fallen Flowers. He raised his voice and shouted, "Yin clan of Xia, Yin Pejun is here to listen to your orders." When the evil spirits surrounded him, Yin Pejun waved his hand in a flashy manner. Scorching flames exploded, burning all the evil spirits that surrounded him into charcoal. Yin Pejun is here to kill the evil spirits. How can I, Feng Qi Sha, not be here? A weird person wearing a demon bone-piercing armor appeared on the battlefield, holding a strange blade that was filled with demonic qi. With a wave of that terrifying demonic blade, all the monsters that it slashed were actually corroded, their souls devoured by the demonic blade, and died. The Feng and Yin clan are so impressive. An extremely cold voice resounded through the skies. Then, a tornado spun in the middle of the battlefield, sweeping countless evil spirits into the sky, freezing them into ice sculptures before falling to the ground. In the tornado, there was a handsome man with hair that was as white as snow. His eyes were as cold as frost as he stared coldly at Yu Yang. He didn't look at the majestic-looking Yin Pejun, nor did he look at the demonic Feng Qi Sha. Instead, he stared at Yu Yang, who was quietly hiding behind city mistress Fallen Flowers, admiring the beautiful scenery. This really made Yu Yang want to faint. You flaunt your power, I look at my scenery. No one is interfering with the other. Why are you staring at me, as if I'm your father's murderer? Normally, the pitiful guy was even more of an otaku than Yu Yang. He usually shut himself in his house, and was a good boy who slept early and woke up early. He was not like Yu Yang, who would climb over the wall to flirt with girls in the middle of the night. What kind of deep hatred did the pitiful guy have with this Ice Cube guy? Could it be that the Ice Cube guy wanted to have sex with the pitiful guy, but was rejected by the pitiful guy, and his love turned into hatred? When Yu Yang thought of this, his heart turned cold. Three great killing stars. Yi Kong was so excited that his mouth was trembling. He looked like a little fan who had just seen a super idol appear, wishing that he could show his but and let his idol sign his name on it. His eyes were burning with passion. Wawa. Actually, it wasn't just Yi Kong. Even the mercenaries who were in the midst of a bitter battle and the elite guards who had just arrived all revealed incomparably excited expressions. Their battle power had increased greatly. What are the three great killing stars? The only person who didn't know about the three great killing gods was Yu Yang. You can't be, right? Yi Kong's jaw dropped to the ground. He didn't even know about the humans' three great killing stars. Could it be that this Yu clan's third young master had lived in the deep mountains and forests all his life and had never seen anyone before? The three great killing stars were the names bestowed by the Warriors Guild to the most outstanding youths of the younger generation. They were respectively Qi Sha, Pejun, and Tanlang. These three great killing stars were obtained by the most outstanding youths of the four great clans, Feng Clan, Yin Clan, and Shui Clan. Hence, their names were changed to Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Shui Tanlang. As for the Yu clan, although they were also one of the four great clans and had many geniuses, Yu Tian and Yu Yin were still lacking compared to Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Shui Tanlang. If Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Shui Tanlang were the strongest of the younger generation and the strongest of the younger generation, then Yu Tian and Yu Yin would be the strongest of the younger generation. Although Yu Tian and Yu Yan's innate beasts were outstanding, they still couldn't be compared to the abnormal strength of Feng Qi Sha and the other two. Looking at Shun Tu Hao, an elite of the four great clans, He couldn't even be considered as one of the strongest among the younger generation. At most, he could be considered as the leader of the second class. Feng Qisha was a proud disciple of the southern floating mist sect, one of the four great clans. His strengthening-type beast demonic battle armor had always been unrivaled among the younger generation. Yin Pejun was a proud disciple of the thunderous lion pagoda, one of the four great clans. His beast-type beast Flaming Lion King was extremely intelligent and had a variety of battle techniques. He was able to fight at close range and long range. Even Xue Tan Lang, who was publicly acknowledged as the strongest and most arrogant, felt that he was a formidable opponent. His evaluation of Yin Pejun was even higher than Feng Qisha, who was the first to become famous. Xue Tan Lang was a proud disciple of the Eastern Ocean Crystal Palace, one of the four great clans. His element-type beast, Tornado Storm, was an abnormality that was publicly acknowledged. He had once defeated his clan's elder when he was 9 years old, shocking the entire soaring dragon continent. The sect leader of the Eastern Ocean Crystal Palace loved his talent and personally accepted him as his last disciple. Even Feng Qisha and Yin Pejun, who had been famous for a long time, looked at Xue Tan Lang, the youngest ice cube guy, in a new light. Yin Pejun and Feng Qisha did not know who Yu Yang was. They thought that he was just an ordinary thief, so they did not care about him. Who would have thought that Xue Tan Lang, the ice cube guy, did not care about anyone else? He directly walked in front of Yu Yang and snorted coldly. "I know you, Yu Clan's third young master. Although I don't know why you despise my sister, and I don't want to know, I am extremely angry at you for heartlessly abandoning my sister. Tell me a time and place. I want to fight you to the death." Yu Yang was dumbfounded. What did he abandon this ice cube guy's sister? Wait a minute, could it be that this ice cube guy was Miss Xue's brother? If that was the case, it would make sense. However, there was still something wrong. He did not. More accurately speaking, the pitiful guy before he transmigrated didn't. He did not abandon the ice cube guy's sister at all, and even jumped into the river to commit suicide for her. Wasn't this marriage annulled by Miss Xue? It was obviously her who annulled the marriage. Why was he still making the accusation? Could it be that this was the legendary, the guilty party sues first? City Mistress Fallen Flowers was still causing trouble at this time. She pointed at Yu Bing, who was behind Yu Yang, blinked her big eyes, and asked, "Is it because this little girl interfered?" "No, Yu Bing is third young master's sister. This is his sister." Seeing that Yu Yang was dumbfounded, Yi Kong hurriedly explained for him. "So you're a sister complex?" City Mistress Fallen Flowers' words almost made Yu Yang vomit blood and die. Everyone looked at Yu Yang with disdain. This really made Yu Yang feel so wrong that he wanted to cry out loud. "What nonsense! I heard that Yu Bing was in danger. That's why I came out to pick her up. What annulment! I don't know anything." Yu Yang felt that compared to himself, Sister Do-Er was not wronged at all. At least she knew who caused her death, while he didn't even know how he died. Now, Yu Yang understood. It was a conspiracy, a conspiracy. This annulment was not only a tragedy, it was also a terrifying conspiracy. The whole soaring dragon continent knows that the annulment letter was written by you personally. You even announced it to the whole nation, ruining my sister's reputation. You still want to quibble? Xue Tan Lang's cold air exploded, almost turning the surroundings into an ice hell. If not for the fact that he was fighting against the demon army, he would have torn Yu Yang apart. Yu Yang was dumbfounded again. It seemed like this conspiracy was not simple. No wonder the pitiful guy couldn't take it anymore and jumped into the river to commit suicide. It seemed like the whole world knew that the Yu clan's useless third young master had divorced the Xue clan's daughter. It was very likely that the pitiful guy accidentally found out the truth and couldn't take this shameless conspiracy anymore. He felt that his life was dark and in despair. He jumped into the river to commit suicide. Yi Kong looked at Yu Yang's astonished expression and felt that something was wrong. He hurriedly said something good for Yu Yang. "Is there some kind of misunderstanding?" City Mistress Fallen Flowers laughed. "Maybe it's just a couple quarreling. Why are you guys so nervous? Let's meet up when you have time and explain this matter clearly." She then changed her expression and shouted, "Now, It's time to slay the demons. Counterattack. Use all your strength and kill your way into hell. Wait. After summoning the thick smoke monster, the expert who had been silent all this while suddenly opened his mouth. Right now, he had become a bloody man with broken skin and ruptured blood vessels. Under the anti-magic law of Tong Tian Tower, all the demon worshippers who summoned the Demon's Gate, no matter if they were a grimoire contractor or not, no matter what level of rancor they were, they would definitely die. Moreover, they would explode in extreme pain. The man who was about to explode smiled at Yu Yang. I've seen your father before. He is the only rancorer in the whole soaring dragon continent who doesn't look down on me. He is also the only rancor I respect. After I die, I am willing to give you everything I have. Take it as repayment for Mr. Yu Qiu saving my life when I was being chased by people. Don't go over, he's about to explode. He wants to blow you up as well. He wants to die with you. Yi Kong hurriedly stopped Yu Yang. It's okay. I'm trash anyway. It doesn't matter if I die. Yu Yang looked relaxed on the surface, looking as if he was going to die. However, he was secretly cursing in his heart. How could he not go over after bringing up the pitiful guy's father? Under everyone's gaze, he had to admit that Yu Qiu was his father. He couldn't back down. Furthermore, if he saw that something was wrong, he could use the mysterious 3 styles to escape from this kind of explosion that he couldn't control himself. I found this when I entered the destroyed land. Although I know it's a good thing, no one knows what it is. I'll give it to you as well. You look like your father, but your character is different. He's a man who would rather die than be stubborn. In comparison, I like your shameless and despicable character more. In the future, when you pay your respects to your father, tell him that Ensure Ming has failed to live up to his kindness of saving his life and his painstaking advice. Goodbye, the soaring dragon continent that raised me but couldn't tolerate me. Goodbye, the Tong Tian Tower that is like a hell for weaklings. The man who called himself Ensure Ming stabbed his bloody hand into his heart and forcefully dug out his still beating heart. He then crushed it. With a loud bang, a pillar of blood spurted out from his chest. His entire body exploded towards the sky, scattering his flesh and bones all over the ground. Yu Yang held a mysterious black metal fragment in his left hand and a silver grimoire that was gradually dimming in his right hand. He was extremely shocked because in his mind there was a message that he couldn't even dream of. Summoning grimoire that has been contracted. Do you want to set it as an instance dungeon grimoire? Do you want a contract? Instance dungeon grimoire? He could even contract a summoning grimoire? Yi Yang almost fainted. In the soaring dragon continent, no matter how powerful a person was, he could only contract 1 grimoire. What kind of problem was this? How could he contract 2 grimoires? Could it be that his luck was twice as good as others? Chapter 65. If he contracted it in front of everyone, he would be able to get a copy grimoire, but even a fool would suspect him, especially since he had contracted a bronze grimoire before, and now he contracted a silver grimoire in front of everyone. How would he explain it to the beautiful woman in Yubing? If he contracted it in front of everyone, how would the Feng, Shui, and Yin families react? What if there was another innate light pillar that appeared for everyone to see? Or perhaps a grimoire could only be contracted with a bronze grimoire, and he had contracted with a silver grimoire in front of everyone? Would Luo Hua City Mistress and everyone else be suspicious? But if he didn't contract it and missed this opportunity, would he be able to contract it again in the future? If he couldn't, then he would be a tragedy. After struggling his heart for a while, Yi Yang finally rejected the idea of contracting a copy grimoire immediately. It was good to be special, but it wouldn't be good if others found out. When Yu Yang refused to contract a silver grimoire, he was really afraid that he would never have the chance to do so in the future. Who would have thought that the message had always been there, as if a living spirit was silently calling out to him, causing him to be both surprised and happy. Awesome. If he didn't contract it now, it didn't mean that he would lose the chance forever. He would just have to find a place with no one and contract this silver grimoire later. By the way, what is this mysterious black metal fragment? Yu Yang was about to use his divine vision to take a look when City Mistress Fallen Flowers suddenly threw a small silver token to him. "Little thief, I order you, Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Xue Tan Lang, to be the Demon Slayer squad leader for the expedition to the Demon Abyss. Immediately pick 5 elites and follow me." Me? Yu Yang's face was even more bitter than a bitter gourd. He only wanted to carry Yu Bing and leave this messy battlefield, find a place with no one, and contract the Silver Grimoire. As for the great matter of conquering hell and slaughtering demons, he could leave it to the capable youths Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Xue Tan Lang. If he were to carry his sister to the Demon Abyss, what would he do if he encountered a terrifying Demon King-level expert? Even if they couldn't meet it, the Demon Abyss was not a fun place to be. City Mistress Fallen Flowers' order to Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Xue Tan Lang was an order that they could not disobey. While Yu Yang was hesitating, the 3 of them had already chosen the Golden Armored Guard or the best Silver Armored Guard, and went to attack the Demon Abyss with a murderous aura, killing their way into the Demon Abyss to fight against the demons. This was the greatest glory of all the warriors in the soaring dragon continent. Yi Kong, Li Xie, and Li Gu were so excited that their bodies were trembling. They saluted. "Captain, we are ready. You want to conquer the demonic abyss? Do you think the 3 of you are strong enough to fill the gaps between the teeth of the evil spirits?" Yu Yang rolled his eyes as he listened. He had seen foolish people before, but he had never seen such a foolish person. If he wanted to die, he could have gone to Yulong Valley to feed the devil insects. Why did he have to go to the Demon Abyss? "I don't ask for anything else, as long as you can bring me to the Demon Abyss, even if I have to perish together with the weakest green skin." Yi Kong was usually very rational, but when he heard about conquering the Demon Abyss, his intelligence immediately became negative. He hugged onto Yu Yang's thighs, insisting on pulling him to the teleportation gate. Actually, it was not only him. Even the 2 brothers Li Xie and Li Gu had turned into bloodthirsty berserkers, staring at the teleportation gate with killing intent. If not for the fact that they needed Yu Yang to lead them in, they would have already rushed in to fight the demons with their lives. "If you want to go, you can go. I'm not going." Yu Yang was probably the first warrior in the history of the soaring dragon continent who refused to enter the Demon Abyss to fight against the demons. "You can put down the girl on your back. We swear that we will definitely guarantee her safety." One of the Silver Armor Guards thought that Yu Yang was worried that Yu Bing would be in danger, so he volunteered to help Yu Yang look after Yu Bing. "Nonsense. I'll be even more worried if I hand it over to you guys." Yu Yang had never heard that handing over a little lamb to a pack of wolves would have a good ending. "I'm late. You demons, hand over your lives." "Wait, don't kill first. Let me have some fun. I've never killed a demon before. Let me do it." "Damn, Taiyan, why are you snatching? Will you die if you kill one less? Do you know how much you hurt my, Master Hai's, heart by doing this? My heart was born to slay demons. Now that I've received such a heartless blow from you, what if I jump into the river and commit suicide? Can you guys compensate me with your life?" "Wait, paparazzi, be good and leave this green-skinned one to me. I'm an expert in killing green-skinned ones. I was born to kill green-skinned ones." "Damn, you lowly dog." No, you're a strong and powerful dog. I didn't see clearly that you were a bronze-ranked level 4 Ironback demonic wolf just now. I misunderstood. That's not right. Why haven't you contracted before? Oh my God, you're my brother's dog. I haven't seen you for a few days, and you've actually leveled up. Where's my brother?" A fatty that was 3 times the size of a normal person rode a white rhinoceros and slowly ran over. He also wanted to kill the demon, but with his speed, he couldn't even catch a single hair. After he recognized Hui Tai Lang, he looked around and finally found Yu Yang in the messy battlefield. He happily jumped down from the white rhinoceros's back. The heavy weight caused the ground to tremble. This was the fatty Haida Fu who liked to pretend to be a boss. Fatty Hai, who was like a small mountain of meat, charged towards Yu Yang with a rumble. In the process, he knocked away 2 beasts and 3 mercenaries. Even the Silver Armor Guards were so scared that they hurriedly dodged to one side. However, Fatty Hai didn't have the self-awareness of a human tank at all. He even took small steps and ran to Yu Yang's side. He patted Yu Yang's shoulder hard, almost knocking Yu Yang to the ground. "Brother, you're here? Why didn't you inform me, your boss? Why did you secretly come here to kill demons? Even though there are many demons here, you don't have to worry. I, your boss, will protect you. Look, this is my beast, a bronze-ranked level 2 ironback rhinoceros. As long as it stands on the battlefield, it's like an impenetrable wall. Who are these three? Are they your friends? Have they joined any guilds? Call me boss. I'll protect you guys in the future. Who needs your protection?" Yikong was about to go crazy. This fatty's survival rate on the battlefield was practically zero, yet he still dared to pretend to be an expert. "Although you guys are very weak, I'll train you guys. In the future, I, your boss, will bring you guys through the trials. I'm the famous trial prince of Tong Tian Tower." Fatty Hai didn't even know Yikong, who had lived in the first floor of Tong Tian Tower for 2 years. "Trial prince? How come I don't know you?" Yikong strongly suspected that this fatty's brain was filled with tofu dregs. Moreover, it was the kind that had gone bad. "That's because you're ignorant and inexperienced. Go to a place where there's no one around." "Who doesn't know me, Master Hai?" "Don't call me master. That's too tacky. Just call me boss." Fatty Hai had a natural passion for the word boss. "Who would call you boss?" Yikong and the Li brothers almost exploded when they heard this. "When you guys see my strength, I guarantee that you'll wholeheartedly call me boss." Fatty Hai humphed confidently. "Idiot, I can't be bothered to talk to you. Let's go to the abyss. Even if the teleportation gate is maintained by an array, I'm afraid it won't last for more than half an hour. We need to hurry and see the abyss." Yikong hadn't even finished speaking when Fatty Hai started screaming as if he was being raped. "Go to the abyss? You have the leader's token? Wow, you really do. Brother, you're really worthy of being my Master Hai's little brother. You're really powerful. Come on, let's go. You don't know, but I was born into this world to conquer the demonic abyss. I beg you, bring me there. At most, I'll let you be the boss for a while." Fatty Hai patted his chest, causing his fat to ripple. Seeing that Yu Yang wasn't willing to go, he immediately used his brute force and pulled Yu Yang's arm with all his might, insisting on dragging Yu Yang into the teleportation gate. Yikong hated Fatty Hai, who didn't have any strength but liked to pretend to be a boss. However, seeing that he could use brute force to drag Yu Yang into the abyss, he hurriedly chased after him. Yu Yang and Yikong were pushing and shoving each other, forcefully dragging Yu Yang into the abyss. The fanaticism in their eyes towards conquering the abyss almost burnt Yu Yang to a crisp. To be honest, Yu Yang was also a little curious in his heart. It wouldn't be bad to go and see for himself. If he couldn't beat them, he could just run away. The abyss was so big, he wouldn't be so unlucky as to meet a demon king-level ranker the moment he went out. Right? Carrying Yu Bing to the abyss was really dangerous, but he couldn't be at ease leaving her in this messy battlefield. Yu Yang turned around and looked at Yu Bing's pale face that was in deep sleep. A feeling of pity that he had never felt before emerged in his heart. If he brought her along, he would have her. She was his own sister. Since he could bring her to the abyss, he could also bring her safely back to Tong Tian Tower, back to that warm little home, back to Fourth Mother's side. "You guys, if you don't want to die, don't move around after you go in. Observe the situation clearly first." Yu Yang felt that Yikong and the others, who were blinded by glory and hot-bloodedness, would start killing the moment they entered the teleportation gate. Even if there were 100 of them, they would still be food for the Demon Legion. Yikong and the others weren't fools. They naturally understood this logic. Looking at Yu Yang's serious expression again, there was a trace of care in his coldness. Although it wasn't a fraction of the gentleness in his eyes when he looked at Yu Bing just now, they couldn't help but feel a surge of warmth in their hearts. In an instant, it flowed through their entire body, their blood boiling. They nodded their heads vigorously, stood at attention, and replied loudly, "Yes." After Yu Yang stepped into the teleportation gate, he only felt his vision darken. After the slight dizziness passed, he discovered that he was in a purgatory filled with blood-red skies. A blood-red full moon strangely emitted a red light from the black clouds, dyeing the sky red like fresh blood. In front of him, on top of a black and red rock, stood an uncountable number of demon monsters. When Yu Yang saw this, his heart sucked in a breath of cold air. There were at least 100,000 monsters here, not to mention the fact that their reinforcements were endless. Even if these demon monsters in front of him all stopped and stretched out their necks to be slaughtered, they still wouldn't be able to kill them. This battle, it seemed like it was going to be tough. Everyone be careful. The demon generals have arrived. Demon generals usually have summoning grimoires, so it's not easy to kill them. We have to finish this battle quickly and focus on massacring the weaker demon generals. City Mistress Fallen Flowers released a white pillar of light that she had been accumulating for a long time. A pillar of light extended in front of her, and all the demon generals that came into contact with it were instantly vaporized. Not even their ashes were left. The shooting of this pillar of light instantly killed hundreds of the demon army, directly opening up a large gap in the dense black encirclement. Fallen Flowers, you're invincible. The human warriors all cheered, their morale greatly boosted. However, Yu Yang clearly realized that City Mistress Fallen Flowers definitely couldn't use this kind of white pillar of light more than a few times. She had been accumulating it for a long time, which was why she had this kind of power. Now that the enemies were surging towards them, she, who had already used up all her energy, simply didn't have the time to accumulate again. Try to kill as many enemies as possible. Every team will kill 100 demons, and I will bestow upon you the honor of Demon Slayer. I will also allow you to return to Tong Tian Tower. City Mistress Fallen Flowers didn't set any extremely difficult conditions. Her main goal was to lead the young elites of the human race into the demon abyss to train. She didn't want these young elites, who had limitless futures, to die honorably in battle for the sake of slaying demons. Training these young people's courage, willpower, and sense of honor was her ultimate goal. As for their strength and achievements, they could increase it during their usual training. Yikong, none of you are allowed to move. Wait until I see clearly. Yu Yang felt a sense of danger. If it was only 100,000 low-level monsters that were level 3 and below, then Yu Yang wouldn't have this kind of sense of danger. Even if there were a few more level 5 demon generals, Yu Yang wouldn't feel his blood run cold. In the darkness, there was definitely an even more terrifying demon lying in ambush, waiting for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Even if this demon wasn't a Demon King ranker, it probably wasn't that far off. If the strongest person on his side, City Mistress Fallen Flowers, was attacked with just Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, Shui Tan Lang, and himself, these 4 juniors, how long could they last? Moreover, he was carrying the unconscious Yu Bing on his back. What should he do? How could he get out of this dangerous situation? Chapter 66. Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Shui Tan Lang led their team and killed hundreds of low-level demons like tigers in a flock of sheep. They quickly returned. City Mistress Fallen Flowers noticed that Yu Yang did not lead his team forward. She looked at him meaningfully. She had already discovered the hidden enemies long ago. She did not warn Feng Qi Sha and the others that there were strong enemies lurking in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. This was also a test. On the cruel battlefield, other than courage and strength, one also needed a clear mind and sharp senses. In Tong Tian Tower, there would never be a lack of challenges and dangers. The person with the strongest battle power might not necessarily be the one who lived the best. To become a ranker at the peak, one must live longer than anyone else and experience more difficulties than anyone else. Among humans, there had never been a lack of geniuses. There were always countless geniuses emerging in the soaring dragon continent, but most of them were like shooting stars, only flashing for a moment before disappearing forever. City Mistress Fallen Flowers did not deny that Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Shui Tan Lang were super geniuses. Even among the geniuses, they were extremely rare leaders. But in her heart, City Mistress Fallen Flowers had more expectations for Yu Yang, this unknown little thief. He was the only young man she could not see through. You have already obtained the glory. Return to Tong Tian Tower immediately. Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, and Shuetan Lang stay behind. City Mistress Fallen Flowers waved her hand and ordered the golden armored guards to enter the teleportation gate and return to Tong Tian Tower. She did not care about Feng Qi Sha and the other two. She only turned to look at Yu Yang and asked softly, "There are more than 100,000 enemies, but they did not attack fiercely. What do you think is the reason?" Feng Qi Sha and the other two were shocked when they heard City Mistress Fallen Flowers ask Yu Yang. In their hearts, City Mistress Fallen Flowers was the most intelligent person among the human rankers. Why would she ask the Trashy Clan, third young master? Could it be that this trash was not as trash as others said, but was actually a super smart guy? City Mistress Fallen Flowers was not related to him at all. Why would she give him pointers? For a moment, Yin Pujun and the other two felt sour in their hearts. Castellan Fallen Flowers was such an outstanding expert. She usually ignored everyone, but now she didn't even look at him in a new light. Instead, she favored this good-for-nothing. Even in front of the 10 Mo ghosts, she insisted on personally guiding him to think. The minds of the three of them spun rapidly. If it were them, how would they answer? In the current situation, why would the enemy do this? Although City Mistress Fallen Flowers did not ask them, Shuetan Lang and the rest were unwilling to admit defeat and started to ponder, hoping to come up with a better answer than Yu Yang. 100,000 low-level evil spirits are nothing to be afraid of. If the enemy's strength far exceeds ours, you wouldn't have led us to counterattack the demonic abyss. Hearing Yu Yang's words, although Shuetan Lang and the others did not want to admit it, they also felt that this brat's words made sense. Thinking about it carefully, if there were countless strong enemies waiting behind the teleportation gate of the demon abyss, why would City Mistress Fallen Flowers bring everyone here to die? Since she dared to bring everyone here, it proved that she had a certain level of confidence. When they looked at Yu Yang again, the expression in their eyes had already changed. It was no longer disregard or anger, but surprise. This good-for-nothing, not only was he not as bad as the rumors said, he was even a little outstanding. At least in front of 10 Mo ghosts, he could still think so calmly. This was not something a good-for-nothing could do. And then why do you think they're not in a hurry to attack now? City Mistress Fallen Flowers seemed to have expected Yu Yang to say that, and asked another question. I'm guessing that there must be an extremely cunning commander among the demons. After the teleportation gate opened, it did not rush out of the teleportation gate. Instead, it hid here and observed the battle situation. If we don't counterattack, then it might have some other tricks up its sleeve. If we attack, it will suspect that we have an ambush, so it won't dare to act rashly. As long as we show any signs of weakness, I believe it will immediately launch a sneak attack on us. This cunning demon ranker is probably a demon king. When Yu Yang said this, it gave Shuetan Lang and the others a big fright. Demon King, Yi Kong, Fatty Hai, and the others were so scared that they trembled all over. What kind of existence was a demon king? Anyone below level 6 elder would be instantly killed by a demon king. With just these people, they might not even be enough to fill the gaps between its teeth. It's not a demon king. City Mistress Fallen Flowers waved her hands lightly. He's the Baron of Hell Mo Yun, a super strong ranker who transformed from a human into a demon 1,000 years ago. He's extremely cunning and knows how to make use of people's weaknesses. For example, Ing Shiming's fall was probably due to his enticement. His worshippers always look for warriors who thirst for power but have weak wills in the lower levels of Tong Tian Tower or remote towns in the soaring dragon continent, using their power to lure them to fall step by step. Shun Tu and the others might be the targets that Ing Shiming is looking for the Baron of Hell Mo Yun. Why did Ing Shiming kidnap Yu Bing? A thought flashed through Yu Yang's mind. Could this be related to the Baron of Hell Mo Yin? Plant-type beasts are the nemesis of all hell-type demons. Ing Ming wanted to harm your sister in order to prevent the growth of human plant-type warriors. To human warriors, plant-type beasts are not that important to your sister, but to demons, plant-type beasts are very scary. I suspect that Shun Tu and the others suppressing her previously was also Ing Shiming's instigation. City Mistress Fallen Flowers revealed a little secret. When the others heard this, they didn't have any reaction. This was because they weren't proficient in plant-type beasts and had never thought of using plant-type beasts. However, Yu Yang's heart palpitated. No wonder the Thorny Flower Fairy could single-handedly slaughter the entire demon army and 3 demon kings from 3,000 years ago. It turned out that not only was the Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen powerful, she was also the nemesis of Hell-type demons. Now the humans were getting weaker and weaker, being suppressed by demons. It probably had something to do with human warriors abandoning plant-type beasts. Without their nemesis, if they were to fight again, it would definitely be unbearable. If he could nurture the Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen, wouldn't he be able to sweep through the demon army like the Thorny Flower Fairy? What do you think we should do next? City Mistress Fallen Flowers asked Yu Yang again. Everyone knew that City Mistress Fallen Flowers already had a plan in her heart. The reason why she asked Yu Yang was to give him a chance to display his intelligence independently. Yin Pejun and the others were extremely jealous. They couldn't wait to take away City Mistress Fallen Flowers' favoritism from Yu Yang. Yi Kong, Fatty Hai, and the others were extremely excited. Their entire bodies trembled as they stared at Yu Yang with their eyes wide open, their hearts filled with anticipation. The longer we stay here, the more suspicious the Baron of Hell, Mo Yun, will be. We'd better take the initiative to attack and challenge him. Otherwise, he will definitely play some tricks behind our backs. I don't know what tricks he can play, but it's definitely not a good thing. The sense of danger in Yu Yang's heart grew stronger and stronger. He guessed that the Baron of Hell, Mo Yun, was definitely playing tricks in the dark. Well said, you're very accurate. He's currently making a sacrifice. These low-level demons aren't used to attack us. They're used as sacrifices. With such a large-scale sacrifice, he can play many tricks. It's precisely because you're all human elites that I'm so strict with you. Make your decision now. If you're willing to leave safely, then go through the teleportation gate. If you're willing to challenge yourselves, then go and challenge a demon general. After killing the enemy, you can use a teleportation scroll to return to the Warriors Guild. As for the Baron of Hell, Mo Yun, I'll personally defeat him. City Mistress Fallen Flowers smiled proudly. The Baron of Hell wanted to play some tricks. He wanted to keep all the human elites that she was leading, using 100,000 low-level demons as sacrifices. However, would she let him do as he wished? A sacrifice of 10 MO demons? She already had a plan to deal with it, so what? City Mistress Fallen Flowers looked at the densely packed, low-level demons outside, screaming as they fell to the ground. One by one, they exploded and died. In the end, their corpses piled up like a mountain, and their blood flowed like a river. The sneer on her lips became even stronger. With such a large sacrifice, Mo Yun would only waste his efforts. It was completely useless to her. The only thing that worried her was whether Feng Qi Sha, Yin Pejun, Shuetan Lang, and the others could defeat the demon general and safely return to the first floor of Tong Tian Tower. She looked at Yu Yang. Although on the surface his strength was the weakest, other than carrying his unconscious sister, he was also carrying a few teammates whose strength were simply too horrible to look at. However, in her heart, she had the most confidence in him. This kind of confidence, there was no way to explain it, but she really had this kind of strange feeling. Who dares to fight with me? Yin Pejun and the others were incomparably heroic, loudly inviting the demon general in front of them to fight. You guys fight slowly. I'm a little hungry. I'll go back and eat some supper first. Yu Yang spread his legs, preparing to slip away. This fellow's shameless escape not only made Shuetan Lang and the others embarrassed, even the demons in front of them could not stand it. A demon general wielding a pair of crescent blades flew through the air and threw something in the air. It landed in the space between Fatty Hai and Yu Yang, and a jet-black pillar of light rose from the ground. Yu Yang realized that it was actually a teleportation pillar. In his heart, he scolded Fatty High and the others for being idiots. Why did they come to the demon abyss to die? Looking at City Mistress Fallen Flowers' expression that seemed like a smile, yet not a smile, he clenched his teeth and rushed into the fading jet-black pillar of light to save Fatty High and the others. In an instant, he was teleported to a blood-red space. The area was not big. It was estimated to be about the size of a football field. Welcome to the death match between the demon race and the human race. On my battle monument, you will be the 1,365th human warrior killed by me. The demon general who used the twin crescent blades laughed heartily. At his feet, Yi Kong, Fatty High, and the Li brothers were already lying in a pool of blood. Luckily, they had not died. They were only unconscious due to their heavy injuries. Yu Yang cried out involuntarily, "It can't be. You guys dare to attack the demon abyss with just this level of skill? I'm really speechless. Demon General, did you sneak attack them?" The demon general crossed his blades in front of his chest and proudly said, "It can't be said to be a sneak attack. It's just that their reactions were too slow." Before he could finish speaking, he suddenly realized that Yu Yang's fist had already landed on his nose. Boom! The demon general was sent flying into the air and fell down heavily. In the end, he jumped up awkwardly and shouted at Yu Yang, "You're too despicable. You actually took the opportunity to sneak attack me while I was talking." Yu Yang arrogantly imitated his opponent's movements. He took out 2 small daggers and crossed them in front of his chest. Raising his head proudly, he arrogantly said, "It can't be said to be a sneak attack. It's just that your reactions were too slow." Chapter 67. Yu Yang's actions made the demon general mad with anger. However, this fellow was not an idiot. Even in his extreme anger, he did not lose his rationality. He understood that this human who could punch him in the nose without him reacting was not someone to be trifled with. He was definitely not as weak as the other 4. Being able to punch him while carrying a girl on his back, he was definitely not a simple opponent. The demon general brandished his dual blades and retreated 30 meters away before taking out a crystal to summon his beast. Seeing that this demon general did not have a summoning grimoire, Yu Yang heaved a sigh of relief. He hated opponents with summoning grimoires the most. An eggshell-like defensive shield was too annoying. Not only was it unbreakable, it was also easy for the enemy to escape. Fortunately, this fellow did not have a summoning grimoire and only had 2 crescent demon weapons that looked like eggs words. If there were no accidents, this fellow's eggs words would be his. Although the shape of the demon general's crescent blades was different from the legendary eggs words, it was not as curved, and it was more focused on one side in order to deal the most damage. However, Yu Yang did not mind. He even drooled at the sight of this pair of magic blades. He was certain that this was the demon abyss version of the egg words. Other than the Death Knight's Frostmourne, his eggs words were the coolest and most eye-catching weapons. As the saying goes, once the eggs words are out, the brothers are all gone. It could be seen how popular the eggs words were. Since he had come to the demon abyss, if he did not bring back these 2 eggs words, how could he face himself? Hui Tai Lang, what are you waiting for? Go! Following Yu Yang's order, Hui Tai Lang immediately obeyed and moved out. On the other side, the demon general's strengthening summoning had just begun when Hui Tai Lang pounced on him. The demon general did not think that Yu Yang would be so shameless. Not only did he charge at him, he even released the dog. Yu Yang did not think this way. Releasing the dog was a great tradition in Huaxia. Back then, if Erlang Shun did not release the howling celestial dog, he might not even have been able to defeat Sun Wukong. That's why releasing the dog was very important. The demon general's mood was extremely gloomy. The strengthening of his summoned beast was not complete. It would probably be able to unleash its full power in 2 or 3 seconds, but the fusion had stopped. His body and beast were bound by an invisible force, unable to move at all. Unfortunately, this damned human martial artist was a fool who didn't form a contract with a summoned beast and only focused on cultivating battle techniques. He was beaten until he was dizzy and seeing stars. The thing that drove the demon general crazy the most was that after this guy snatched the twin blade from his hands, he was even more proficient in using them than he was. Chopping left and cutting right, slicing up and down, turning, spinning, slashing, there was nothing he wasn't proficient in. It was as if this pair of crescent blades was made for him. With great difficulty, the demon general was able to endure this brat's storm-like attacks. When he crawled back up, he discovered that there was not a single part of his body that was not injured. Your egg blade is not bad, but it's a pity that its quality is a little low. You are a demon general. How can you use a bronze-rank demon weapon? Yu Yang expressed his dissatisfaction. Human, you've completely angered me. Although the human martial artist in front of him was very strong, he didn't have a contracted beast. This would be his fatal weakness. Although the bronze-ranked level 4 Ironback Demon Wolf was strong, it was only a wild beast. There was nothing to fear. As a level 5 ranker, the demon general didn't think that a human who didn't have a contracted beast and only cultivated battle techniques and a slightly higher level wild wolf could defeat him. Could it be that this human thought that he could win by using the crescent blades to cut him? This was really ridiculous. Could it be that he didn't know that the demon race dominated the 3 realms with their strong bodies? As long as his heart wasn't pierced, as long as his head wasn't chopped off, then he could continue fighting. His battle power wouldn't be affected at all. The twin crescent blades were only a support. His strongest point was a strong body. The demon general took a deep breath and completely fused with his summoned beast, the demon lizard. His entire body slowly changed shape. The curved horns on his head grew longer, turning from thick to sharp. His 10 fingernails also turned into sharp claws that could split gold and stone. The muscles on his body bulged, and his skin was covered with a layer of thick scales. Behind him, his tail became thicker and longer. Sharp barbs grew out from the tail end. A pair of thin, fleshy wings grew out from both sides of his body, greatly increasing his gliding speed. When he leapt forward, Yu Yang saw the demon general's freely retracting toenails scratch the ground, and actually left a few deep scratches on the black stone-paved ground. Immediately, his face revealed a very shocked expression. Right now, my body, strength, and speed have all increased by 5 times. Tremble and weep, weak and useless human. The demon general laughed loudly. He leapt up and pounced toward Yu Yang in the air. Yu Yang used his crescent blades to meet the slash, but it was easily blocked by the demon general's palm. The sharp crescent blades couldn't even cut through the hard scales of the demon general's claws and could only leave a faint mark. The demon general raised his other hand, and his sharp claws slashed downwards as if they could tear the heavens and split the earth. Yu Yang hurriedly turned his body and used his other crescent blade to block the attack. The demon general laughed loudly and pressed down with his strength, forcing Yu Yang's body to the ground. Suddenly, a tail full of barbs appeared in front of Yu Yang's face like a poisonous snake. Pung! Yu Yang somersaulted backwards, narrowly dodging the attack. On the ground, the barbed tail split the ground into pieces, and gravel flew everywhere. At this time, Yu Yang's face revealed a very shocked expression. He looked just like a country bumpkin who had just come from the countryside to the big city and saw an airplane. Tremble, weak human. The demon general once again summoned a ball of flame, letting it burn on his claws. Originally, this was supposed to be used on the crescent blades, but since the demon weapon had been snatched away by Yu Yang, he could only use it on his claws. However, its power didn't decrease at all. As long as the human in front of him was scratched by the claws, the demon fire beast would burn him to ashes. Seeing Yu Yang retreat, the demon general laughed loudly, extremely pleased with himself. Immediately after, he chased after him like lightning, raising both of his blazing claws and clawing towards Yu Yang's head. The binding force that the demon general couldn't understand previously appeared again. At the same time, he felt as if the world was spinning around him. When the demon general finally reacted, he discovered that his entire body had already fallen onto the ground. There was a tall and big ox-head warrior looking down at him. Those eyes were as red as fire. The demon fire beast, in his arms, separated from his body with a bang. It turned into a ball of demonic fire, rolling on the ground. The demon general didn't even have time to understand what was going on. He suddenly saw a huge cow's hoof stomping heavily on his face. Hui Tai Lang waited for a long time. Seeing that the demon fire beast was instantly killed by the barbarian cow shadows, Doom's eyes, he immediately rushed forward and swallowed the demon fire beast's corpse into his stomach. You squandering lowly dog, you eat everything. Do you think you are a government official? You will eat wherever you go. Yu Yang discovered that after Hui Tai Lang swallowed the demon fire beast's corpse, a burst of flames appeared all over his body. His skin burned fiercely, and another head strangely popped out from his neck. In less than 2 minutes, he had completely merged with the demon fire beast's energy and officially leveled up to become a bronze-ranked level 5 two-headed demon wolf. Hui Tai Lang was obviously not used to having 2 heads after evolving. He walked a little awkwardly, and when his 2 heads looked at each other, they both had a frightened expression on their faces. In the end, after observing for a while and confirming that he had an extra head, Hui Tai Lang's 4 eyes rolled back and he fainted. Yi Yang was speechless. He reckoned that Hui Tai Lang was the first beast in the history of the wolf clan, or even the whole beast world, to be scared unconscious by him. With this little bit of courage, it would be difficult for him to have a bright future in the future. On the other side, the barbarian cow shadow, who didn't know what fear was ruthlessly trampling on the demon general who had been unlucky for 18 lifetimes. Under her brute force, the demon general had no chance of resisting. Even if he could resist, it would be completely useless because there was still little Wan Li who was blinking her big eyes and watching the fun. However, the real reason why the demon general couldn't get up was because of Yu Yang's sword chi. Yu Yang only used 1 sword chi and easily pierced through the demon general's weakest point, his heart. With my everything, I dedicate it to the great demon king Baruth. Long live the demon king. The demon general was in despair. He shouted loudly, and following that, his muscles started to change shape strangely. His stomach bulged out, and the demonic aura around his body quickly condensed into a ball. Please calm down. I'm thinking about what trembling is. The demon general might want to self-destruct, but Yu Yang didn't have the time to care about him. On the other hand, little Wan Li, who had been watching the fun from the side, couldn't stand it anymore. She summoned the stone element Medusa, and with a single arrow, the stone element Medusa petrified the demon general who was about to self-destruct after being stomped on by the barbarian cow shadow for a long time. The barbarian cow shadow stomped on him a few more times, and the demon general became a complete tragedy, turning into a pile of broken stones. Should I contract it immediately, or should I snatch a gold grimoire first before contracting it? Why didn't Ning Shiming give me a gold grimoire? A silver grimoire's level is too low. The insatiable Yu Yang had completely forgotten that his own summoning grimoire was only bronze-ranked intermediate. It was 2 ranks lower than this intermediate silver grimoire. If he contracted a secondary grimoire, would he be able to obtain an inherent skill and a guardian beast? Chapter 68. Yu Yang took out the silver grimoire that had dimmed a little. There was a silent summon in his mind again. Rather than waiting to snatch a gold, platinum, or diamond grimoire in the future to contract, it would be better to contract this silver grimoire now. If he used it to fight often, it would probably have already risen to gold or platinum by then. Thinking of this, Yu Yang threw away the burden of his thoughts and stretched out his hand, gently placing it on the silver grimoire. When the information appeared in his mind, he made a clear and definite affirmation. Contract. Between his fingers, bursts of golden light flowed out. At first it was gentle, but it gradually became intense. In the end, the entire silver grimoire flashed with an extremely dazzling golden light. The golden light filled the surroundings. Even the unconscious Yi Kong and the others were dyed with a layer of golden light. A brilliant pillar of light rose from the silver grimoire. Yu Yang looked up and found that the pillar of light was extremely high. It went straight to the 9 heavens, and he couldn't see the top at all. While he was still in shock, Yu Yang found that a special message appeared in his mind. Looking down, he discovered that the intermediate silver grimoire was dropping in rank, turning into a beginner-level silver grimoire. Not only that, it kept dropping in rank, turning into advanced level, intermediate level, and finally reverted to a beginner-level bronze grimoire. Yu Yang sweated profusely. It turned out that no matter what rank the grimoire was, once it was contracted, it would become a beginner bronze grimoire. It turned out that everything that belonged to the grimoire owner would disappear, and everything would start new. If he had known this earlier, why would he have hesitated? It wasn't too much of a pity for a silver grimoire to drop in rank, but if he obtained a diamond grimoire and dropped back to a bronze grimoire, he would really cry. However, how did little Wen Li's grimoire turn out to be a diamond grimoire? Just as this thought surfaced in Yu Yang's mind, he suddenly heard a heavenly cry from the depths of his soul. It was so beautiful that his entire soul trembled. The mysterious energy that had been dormant in his body was now active again. It seemed like it was going to break out of his body. This made Yu Yang's heart suddenly jump. Could it be the heavenly sword goddess? She's leaving? His right hand, which was lightly holding onto the silver grimoire that had reverted back to bronze grimoire, felt waves of pain. His skin had split open and drops of fresh blood seeped out of his palm, dyeing the entire grimoire red. At the same time, Yu Yang discovered that the spiritual qi in his body was surging towards the grimoire crazily. It was even more ferocious than Queen Vivian Li's absorption. His entire body suddenly fell into a state of weakness due to excessive blood loss and spiritual qi consumption. Originally, Yu Yang wanted to pull his hand back, but he couldn't control his hand at that moment. He could only watch as the blood seeped out of his palm and seeped into the grimoire. Suddenly, there was a burst of rainbow light. It formed an extremely beautiful halo that resembled a wheel, a ring, or a moon. It radiated from Yu Yang's fingers, back of his hand, wrist, and arm. A kind of indescribably wonderful fragrance and an indescribable heavenly cry appeared at the same time. Yu Yang seemed to see two bright and dazzling eastern immortal phoenixes flying around his arms, finally entering the grimoire. Before he could see clearly, a boom sounded in his mind, and his consciousness disappeared. He fainted and fell to the ground. Blood Moon Demon Palace. In the Demon Abyss Blood Prison Continent, the leader of the three great demon kings, Baruth, was currently studying the gods' runes with a frown. However, this kind of profound and special summoning runes made the great demon king Baruth's brain hurt. After 3 days and 3 nights of research, there was no progress at all. At this moment, a demon commander who was usually calm and composed knocked aside a demon palace guard and rushed into Baruth's living room in panic and anxiety. "Dulan, what's the matter?" The great demon King Baruth looked at his most trusted subordinate in surprise. "Your Majesty, Demon King, the crystal ceiling pillar has shattered. We need to seal it again immediately. We have used almost all of our country's strength to capture that unknown holy beast in the 7th floor of Tong Tian Tower. It has awakened, and its strength has shattered the crystal ceiling pillar." The demon marshal called Du Lan hurriedly reported. "Hasn't it been sleeping for 300 years? When the great demon king Baruth heard this, his head hurt even more. That unknown holy beast was extremely powerful, but no one could contract it. It would be dangerous to keep it, but it would be a pity to let it go. He really didn't know what to do with it. That's right, it had been quietly sleeping in the seal barrier for 300 years. However, today it suddenly reacted and woke up from its slumber. It continuously roared towards the southeast, as if something had awakened it, or it was asking for help from its companions. I couldn't understand what it meant, so I could only increase the strength of the seal and force it to fall back into slumber. Although that unknown holy beast has fallen back into slumber, our seal formation has also reached its limit. Out of 10 crystal ceiling pillars, 6 have been broken." Demon Marshal Du Lan explained the situation worriedly. "Southeast? Send someone to investigate. See what happened in our southeast." When the great demon king Baruth opened his mouth, Demon Marshal Du Lan immediately shook his head. "There's no need to investigate, Your Majesty, Demon King." Other than a dozen human warriors attacking from the teleportation gate and causing a ruckus for a while, nothing else happened. Those were only from the first floor of Tong Tian Tower. They weren't famous human warriors. Other than a little human girl called Fallen Flowers who had a bit of fame, the others were all human children. I don't think that those people have the ability to awaken and contract holy beasts. If they want to contract holy beasts and divine beasts, they must have a divine grimoire. Furthermore, that place is too far away from us. Even if Demon Marshal Dulon couldn't find the reason, he didn't think that the main reason for the holy beast's awakening was the humans' counterattack. Then what exactly is the reason? The great demon King Baruth was also puzzled and habitually frowned. Battlefield of Death. When Yu Yang woke up again, he discovered that there was a grimoire surrounded by rainbows floating quietly in front of him. It was as resplendent as a diamond, sparkling and translucent, like a flawless crystal. It was so perfect that it made people gasp in admiration. Divine Grimoire? When Yu Yang saw the words on it, he was immediately dumbfounded. From what he knew, there were only bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond grimoires. He had never heard of a divine grimoire before. In fact, the highest level of summoning grimoire that he had seen until now was Little One Li's diamond grimoire, and the grimoire that he had just contracted was intermediate silver. After contracting, it dropped to beginner bronze. How did it become a beginner divine grimoire now? What was a divine grimoire? At this moment, a scene suddenly flashed in Yu Yang's mind. Before Queen Vivian Li went into hibernation, she had once conjured a huge summoning grimoire. It was faintly similar to his divine grimoire, but that one was several times bigger than this one. Could it be that at extremely high realms, those peak rankers did not use normal bronze or silver grimoires, but divine grimoires? Yu Yang's eyes were filled with disbelief as he carefully observed his own divine grimoire. It was a meter long, half a meter wide, and very thick. He estimated that there were more than 10 pages in total. No matter if it was the cover or the details, they were all engraved with extremely beautiful and mysterious runes. Those rune patterns were complex, beautiful, mysterious, and ingenious. Yu Yang was mesmerized by it. He pinched himself fiercely and found that he was not dreaming. His heart rate immediately increased to 300 and his blood vessels almost burst. With a flash of colorful light, Little One Li floated out from Yu Yang's body. She summoned her diamond grimoire and held it with a smile on her face. Then, she floated into the divine grimoire. Yu Yang was dumbstruck. This little girl could actually move on her own. Previously, she did not want to stay in the bronze grimoire because it was too low-leveled. Now that there was a divine grimoire, this little girl immediately moved in. Yu Yang hurriedly wanted to open the divine grimoire to see if he had obtained a new inherent skill in Guardian Beast. But when he stretched out his hand, the information that appeared in his mind made him sweat to death. Innate level and spiritual chi were insufficient, unable to open the divine grimoire. There was actually a matter where he could not open his own summoning grimoire. Yu Yang felt as if his heart was being scratched by a cat. He really wanted to see what was inside the mysterious divine grimoire, but he just could not open it. After a while, he saw the little Lamia lowly floating out with a face full of smiles. Her 6 small arms hugged Yu Yang's thighs, intimately acting coquettishly towards him. She seemed to be very satisfied with this new home. But what was inside the divine grimoire? Little baby, can you tell me what's in there? What is my new inherent skill in Guardian Beast? Yu Yang asked anxiously. Chapter 69. Little One Li blinked her big eyes cutely, not saying a word. She was probably too young to speak yet. The current Yu Yang felt like he was standing at the entrance of Treasure House, but he didn't have the key to open the door. He felt an indescribable pain in his heart. Even in his dreams, he would never have thought that there would be such a change. It was too magical, too surprising, too inconceivable. So even now, he was still in a daze of happiness, unable to completely wake up. There's something good in the divine grimoire, right? Yu Yang asked tentatively. Little One Li nodded her head cutely. There's a fairy sister inside? Yu Yang asked again. Little Winley shook her head cutely. What's inside? Draw a picture. I'll see if your drawing is beautiful. If it's beautiful, I'll bring you to eat sweet, glutinous rice balls. Yu Yang thought of a plan, but Little Winley didn't even know how to speak, let alone know how to draw. She took out her dual icicle blades and scratched on the ground. Yu Yang lay on the ground and looked for a long time, but he still couldn't see what it was. The only thing he could be sure of was that there was definitely a new guardian beast in the divine grimoire, but it wasn't the heavenly sword goddess. Forget it. Although he couldn't open the divine grimoire now, it didn't mean that he wouldn't be able to open it in the future. As long as he trained diligently, he would definitely be able to open it when he met the requirements. As for why this summoning grimoire that had dropped from silver to bronze, Yu Yang couldn't understand why it had leveled up to become a divine grimoire. Of course, he was too lazy to think about it. There were countless weird things in this world, and this divine grimoire wouldn't make a difference. His heart moved, and he asked, above bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond, is there a divine grimoire? Is Queen Vivian Lee's grimoire a divine grimoire? When Yu Yang asked this, Little Winley nodded her head cutely again. He didn't know if she was answering his first or second question. Yu Yang wanted to ask more questions, but Yu Bing moved slightly behind him, as if she was about to wake up. He hurriedly kept the divine grimoire. However, Little Winley didn't enter the divine grimoire. Instead, she did what she usually did, transforming into a light rainbow light, and floated into Yu Yang's body to rest. Although she had moved, it seemed like she still liked to stay in Yu Yang's body. After the Yu Bing put it down, she groaned in pain, as if she could feel discomfort even in her dreams. She did not wake up. Her body moved slightly, but she quickly regained her composure. Her breathing was gentle as she continued to sleep. Yu Yang gently called her a few times, but seeing that she didn't wake up, he didn't call her anymore. He just gently brushed aside a few strands of messy hair on her forehead. On the other hand, Yi Kong was like a cockroach that couldn't be killed. He slowly woke up when Yu Yang was collecting his spoils of war. He climbed up strenuously. First, he reached into Fatty High's bosom and took out a healing stone. He crushed it forcefully, allowing the white light that had the ability to heal to envelop himself, Fatty High, and the Lee brothers. Although the four of them were not lightly injured, their vitality was close to that of cockroach-like creatures. Once they were healed, their injuries quickly recovered, and they woke up one after another. Fatty High and the others woke up one after another. They blankly looked at the strange space in the battlefield of death. They seemed to be puzzled by the fact that they were in this place. Yu Yang sweated profusely. He felt that even if these fellows died, they would still be muddle-headed ghosts. With their muddle-headedness, dying in the demon abyss was not an injustice at all. After a long while, Fatty High rubbed the back of his head and muttered to himself, "Where are we? Didn't we already return to the Warriors Guild? I was clearly drinking with you guys just now. I remember that Yi Kong, that skinny monkey, even snatched my drumstick. Was that a dream? Come to think of it, I really do have some impression of it. Just now, it seemed like someone had heavily punched the back of my head. What exactly happened? Congratulations, because of your outstanding performance. You have won this year's Most Muddle-Headed Award." Yu Yang congratulated him. This is the Demon General? How did Hui Tai Lang become like this? Yi Kong looked at Hui Tai Lang, who had turned into a two-headed demon wolf, in astonishment. Then, he looked at the Demon General, who had turned into a pile of rubble. His mind was in a knot as he asked Yu Yang in puzzlement. What exactly happened? About this, now it was time for Yu Yang to lie again. Looking at the four people who were full of curiosity and waiting for an answer, Yu Yang said in a deadpan manner, "Because the Demon General, through a teleportation scroll, we were dragged into this battlefield of death. You guys were all ambushed and fell to the ground one by one without any sense of loyalty. Only I was left, and I had to fight the fiendish Demon General alone. You guys all know that I'm a loyal supporter of pacifism. Fighting and killing is really harmful to the harmony of the world. Hence, I decided to have a literary competition with the Demon General. He gave me a question to test me, and I also gave him a question to test him. In the end, as we were doing it, he suddenly went crazy. He fiercely struck his own head with his palm, committing suicide. As for how he turned into a pile of rubble, I am still researching it for now. When he opened his mouth, Yi Kong and the Li brothers fell to the ground, almost fainting. They had seen liars before, but they had never seen a liar like this. He believed that as long as it was a child over 6 years old, no one would believe his words. However, Fatty Hai did not doubt him at all. He patted his plump chest and boasted loudly. "What kind of question did you give? Is it really that difficult? Quickly tell me. With me, the problem-solving prince, here, there are no difficult problems in this world." When Yi Kong heard this, he suddenly had the urge to use a sharp dagger to pierce through this Fatty Hai's heart and let him bleed. He had seen gullible people before, but he had never seen someone so gullible. This Fatty Hai's intelligence was infinitely close to zero. If he was compared to a gorilla, even a gorilla would feel a strong sense of superiority. Although this fellow had a human form, he obviously had a pig's head. He actually believed these kinds of words, and he even took it seriously. Heavens, how did this fellow survive until now? Shouldn't he have died a long time ago due to his stupidity? The question is actually very simple. Yu Yang revealed a smile. "I told the demon general that A is a number, B, C, and D are also different numbers. Then can I ask if A, B, C plus C plus C plus D equals A, B, C, D, then what is A, B, C, D equal to?" When Fatty Hai heard this, his mouth opened so wide that a toad could be stuffed inside. Yi Kong and the Li brothers were even more petrified. With this kind of question, it was no wonder that the demon general could not take it and went crazy and committed suicide. Fatty Hai stared blankly for a long time before he said with a flushed face, "There's no problem with the question just now. It's just that it's complicated to calculate and requires some time. Come up with a simpler question." Yu Yang nodded. The smile on his face was as bright as the sun. "All right, I'll come up with a question related to beasts. It's very simple. There are 18 insect-type beasts, including spiders, dragonflies, and cicadas. They have a total of 118 legs and 20 pairs of wings. How many of these 3 types of beasts are there?" Fatty Hai immediately fainted. Yi Kong and the Li brothers discovered that there were countless dragonflies and cicadas flying in front of them. Spiders were also crawling all over their bodies, pulling out large and small spider webs. Only after a long time did they realize that it was all an illusion. Looking at Yu Yang again, they discovered that his smile was even scarier than a demon's. They couldn't help but shiver. Fortunately, the demon general had committed suicide quickly. Otherwise, if he continued to calculate, he would probably die an even uglier death. Such a difficult question, bringing it out to compete, wasn't this clearly bullying the demon race's intelligence? What kind of abnormal genius was a Yu clan's 3rd young master who was called trash by the world? What kind of brain did he have to be able to think of such a terrifying question? Of course, this had nothing to do with being a genius. The main thing was that Yu Yang had a good relationship with Baidu's mother before he was transported to this world. He more or less knew a few difficult mathematical questions. Moreover, compared to real difficult numbers, these questions were child's play. Moreover, even if his relationship with Baidu's mother was average, as long as he had read YY novels on Qidian, wouldn't these questions be at his fingertips? We better hurry back. Yi Kong wiped off his cold sweat. In front of the Warriors Guild, City Mistress Fallen Flowers was waiting for Yu Yang and the others with her 3-tailed snow fox. Seeing that Yu Yang and the others had returned safely, a smile appeared on her face. Yu Yang was curious. This girl had also returned? Why was she waiting for him here? Chapter 70. City Mistress Fallen Flowers waved her hand, signaling Yu Yang to come over. She first looked at Yu Yang curiously, then looked at the demon general's crescent blade and Hui Tai Lang, who had turned into a 2-headed demon wolf. She laughed lightly. "Why did everyone come back injured from a fight, but you look like you just came back from holiday?" "I'm a supporter of pacifism." Yu Yang repeatedly emphasized this point. "The problem is the demons in the abyss don't know that you're a supporter of pacifism. Don't tell me that you picked up this crescent blade." City Mistress Fallen Flowers laughed loudly. Laughter, this was city mistress Fallen Flowers' specialty. Normal girls would always laugh in a reserved manner, especially those from noble families. When they laughed, they would not show their teeth. They were particular about manners, inner qualities, upbringing, etiquette, and so on. But she was different. She would laugh whenever she wanted to, regardless of her manners. Her laughter was exceptionally bold, brilliant like a flower. Her voice was like a bell, resounding through the heart. She had an indescribable, true temperament, giving people a feeling that she was heroic and natural. Originally, Yu Yang didn't want to have any ill intentions towards her, but seeing this girl's moving smile, he couldn't help but have a wolf's desire in his heart. He teased, "No, how could this be picked up? This thing is a demon weapon. How could it be picked up? This is a gift from a demoness. I think she has taken a fancy to me." Yi Kong and Fatty Hai did not dare to speak, nor did they dare to laugh. They tried their best to hold it in. "A witch gave it to you?" City Mistress Fallen Flowers laughed even louder. "The bloody witch gave it to you? Why did she only give you a crescent blade and not anything else?" "No, the bloody witch is such a low-level little demon. How could she know that I have a shocking talent? She is a demon queen with a hot body and unique eyes. At that time, she used this pair of crescent blades to press against my neck, wanting to kill me. At 1 second, I decided to show off my talent, to let her understand that killing me would be the greatest loss to the 3 realms. You don't know, I just softly recited a poem, and her pair of crescent blades fell to the ground with a clang. The beautiful infernal queen's tears flowed endlessly. She cried so hard that she nearly died. It took me a lot of effort to comfort her. In the end, she gave me the pair of infernal weapons that had a meaningful meaning to her. She even said to me, with teary eyes, "My tears flowed down my face. I regret not being able to meet you before we were married." Her grief was truly shocking. Ouch, who hit me? Just as Yu Yang was feeling proud of himself, someone suddenly rushed out from the crowd and sent him flying with a punch. "You shameless fellow, you're here to deceive people again." "Everyone, don't listen to him. This brat's poems are all plagiarized." The person who rushed out from the crowd was the bright-eyed thief who had been teased by Yu Yang previously. It doesn't matter if this is plagiarism or not, but it sounds pretty good. Luo Hua City's mistress laughed and praised Yu Yang a little. Following that, she looked at the bright-eyed thief and asked curiously, Inan, why are you dressed like this? Do you know him?" Without waiting for the bright-eyed thief to speak, Yu Yang hugged her shoulders and laughed. "Of course, Brother Inan is my partner. I'm prepared to write a book on picking up girls with Brother Inan to benefit the entire human race and save all the lost youths. Our great friendship is not built on spending the night in the merry forest, but because we are like-minded. You definitely don't know, but Brother Inan and I have the same dream, and that is to pick up all the beauties in the world." "Brother Inan?" Fatty Hai had the urge to commit suicide. How did this Inan look like a brother at all? Yi Kong also realized that the Yu clan's 3rd young master was not only useless in terms of contracting beasts, but also in terms of judging people. Previously, when he heard that he had broken off his engagement with Miss Shui, Yi Kong did not really believe it. Someone would actually give up on such a good girl like Miss Shui. Now Yi Kong understood a little. This Yu clan's 3rd young master did not know how to look at women at all. He was simply a blind man. How could there be such a handsome brother like this Inan, with such a perfect body and such a fragrant brother? "You better die a little further away." The bright-eyed thief, who was addressed as Inan by his city mistress Fallen Flowers, hit Yu Yang's ribs with her elbow. She grabbed his collar and was about to hit him again when she suddenly saw Yu Bing behind Yu Yang. She immediately stopped and asked, "Who is she?" "Cough, cough, brother. Inan, this is Yu Bing, 3rd young master's sister." Yi Kong felt that he needed to relieve Yu Yang of his embarrassment. Otherwise, the vinegar jar would be broken. This was a misunderstanding that could be cleared up with just a few words. Don't let it turn into a tragedy. As expected, the bright-eyed Inan's attitude immediately changed when she heard it. She wanted to untie Yu Bing and complain to Yu Yang. "Why are you carrying her on your back? What's wrong with her? Did she overuse her spirit? I have a way, you wait here." Princess Fallen Flowers, Anan will go and save her first. I'll talk to you when I'm free." When Yu Yang heard this, he asked curiously, "Aren't you the city mistress? How did you level up to become a princess?" City mistress Fallen Flowers couldn't stop laughing. She waved her hands and said, "Looks like you don't know anything. A princess is just a status. It means that I'm someone else's daughter. It's useless." Do you know how many princesses and princes there are in the Soaring Dragon continent? How many princesses? There are more than 200 of them. Other than the 3 great royal families, the princesses and princesses of other small countries aren't worth much. The city mistress is different. That's the proof of strength. You have to be at least level 6 to be the city mistress of a region. So, you could just call me City Mistress Fallen Flowers. I like this title, but princess sounds cuter. Yu Yang paused and changed the question. Can every level 6 ranker be the city mistress? In theory, yes. However, some people only have martial prowess and don't have the ability to govern. They wouldn't be able to be the city mistress even if they were given a city. Most of them would just be a general with nothing to do. Actually, once you reach level 5, you can enter the army and become a general with nothing to do. Other than defending against the invasion of the demon abyss, you would be free most of the time. All right, my city is still lacking a guard captain. Do you want to try? City Mistress Fallen Flowers asked with a smile. As the saying goes, a soldier who doesn't want to be a general is not a good soldier. I've decided not to be a guard captain. I'll be a general in the future. Yu Yang rejected immediately. I just think that your words are funny. If it was someone else, I wouldn't even care. City Mistress Fallen Flowers didn't mind Yu Yang's rejection at all. She even seemed to have guessed that he would reply like this. She lightly tossed a silver rank card to Yu Yang and said with a smile, "This is my reward for your team. As for the rewards, achievements, and glory that the Warriors Guild gives you, you can go in and collect them yourself. I still have things to do, so I'll take my leave first." City Mistress Fallen Flowers, who was dressed in embroidered clothes, smiled and waved her hand. She brought along her 3-tailed snow fox and floated away with a wave of fragrance. Yu Yang noticed that City Mistress Fallen Flowers' clothes were slightly torn. It was obvious that the battle process wasn't that easy. It seemed that her opponent was really hard to deal with. Fortunately, she wasn't injured. Yu Yang felt that this girl was quite powerful for daring to counterattack the Demon Abyss with only a few juniors. If it was someone else, even if they had 10 times the strength, they still wouldn't dare to do that. Come back to your senses. Your eyeballs fell to the ground. Quickly pick them up. It was unknown when the bright-eyed Anan had returned. She gave Yu Yang a punch on his chest. Her cotton-like little fist made Yu Yang feel very comfortable. "I also have the great dream of getting all the beauties in the world." Fatty High laughed so hard that his fat jiggled. He also wanted to join the fun. "You even have the hobby of being abused." Yikong couldn't stand this guy anymore. He picked up a stick and ruthlessly smashed it on the back of Fatty High's head, knocking him down. Then, he and the Lee brothers rushed up and gave Fatty High a good beating. The two of them had reunited after a long time. Why did this damn fatty want to join the fun? If this wasn't looking for a beating, then what was it? Them. The bright-eyed Anan was a little curious. How did Yu Yang get to know these friends? Don't care about them. They are in the impatient phase of their youth. They usually accumulate too much energy. It's not good if they don't vent it out. Brother Anan, you don't know how worried I've been these days. Yu Yang extended his hands intimately, wanting to hug Anan's soft shoulders. Nonsense. I'm fine. Why are you worried about me? Hearing this, Anan blushed, but quickly returned to normal. She lowered her shoulders and dodged Yu Yang's shameless hands. I know you're still a virgin. You're introverted and shy. You're curious about women, but you don't dare to make a move. It's hard for you to hold it in normally. If you continue like this, you'll easily get sick from holding it in. So, as your brother, I definitely can't let you continue like this. I want to help you. Anan, as long as you break your first time, you'll understand what a man is. With your charming little face, you might even become my rival in love. Don't tell me you know bedroom techniques. Don't worry, I'll teach you. Yu Yang was very enthusiastic. He was prepared to drag Anan to a room and break his first time. Yi Kong and the others were speechless but they pretended not to hear. Fatty High, who was lying on the ground, cried loudly. This idiot, what was he trying to do? He could bring anyone to pick up girls, but he just had to bring Anan. The bright-eyed Anan was so angry that her face turned red. She sent Yu Yang flying with a punch and shouted angrily, "Go and die. I hate people like you the most, big pervert." Yu Yang pretended to be confused. He pointed at Anan's back and asked, "Anan, what's going on? Why are you angry?" When Fatty High heard this, he couldn't take it anymore. He cried loudly, "Don't ask me, just let me die. I hate you too. You idiot, you've wasted your chance." Chapter 71. At the side of the Warriors Guild, there was a medical center. However, not everyone could enter this place. It was not because the medical center was a forbidden area, but because the medical fees here were 100 times higher than outside of Tongtian Tower. Normal mercenaries, unless they were seriously injured or unconscious, would not come here even if their limbs were broken. Normally, they wouldn't buy healing stones here. Instead, they would buy them from the street vendors. Although the effects of those medium and low-grade healing stones made from special type healing beasts were average and extremely expensive, their prices were at least 10 times cheaper than the medium and high-grade healing stones sold in the medical center. It was said that the medical center's high price was the result of a discussion between the 5 revered martial artists who founded the Warriors Guild thousands of years ago. Of course, the goal was not to earn money, but to remind the later generations to use their brains in battle and avoid getting injured. Yu Yang felt that this medical center was much better than the hospitals in the Celestial Empire. At least there were no fake medicines or fake professors. Although it was expensive, it was genuine at a fair price. There was also another point. It was relatively fair. There was no special treatment. Princes would pay the same price. Commoners would also pay the same price. After Yu Bing was sent here for treatment, she recovered very quickly. When Yu Yang entered, she had already woken up. Seeing Yu Yang's appearance, she was very emotional. She rushed up and hugged Yu Yang, choking with sobs as she cried, "Third brother." The little girl must have suffered a lot. At this moment, her tears flowed out. After Yu Yang comforted her for a long time, Yu Bing's sobs gradually calmed down. After wiping away her tears, she immediately pulled the black veil over her face and looked at Yi Kong, Fatty High, and the others behind Yu Yang with vigilance. Because she had experienced the betrayal and attack of her teammates, Yu Bing had developed a kind of distrust toward strangers. I am Yi Kong, third young master's guide." Yi Kong quickly introduced himself. "My name is Haida Fu, but everyone calls me Young Master Hai. I've always kept a low profile. Even though I have a summoning grimoire and a bronze-ranked level 2 iron rhinoceros, I have never boasted about it to others. I am not that kind of person. Little Yu Bing, just call me boss like everyone else. Although your brother is the leader, I am his boss. Don't worry, if anything happens in the future, I'll protect you. I guarantee that with me, Young Master Hai, around, no one will dare to bully you. Look at my arm, it's not fat, it's full of muscles. Aya." Before Fatty High could finish his sentence, he had already been beaten to the ground by Yi Kong and the Li brothers. He cried out in pain as if he was a pig being slaughtered. "Third brother, why have you come to Sky Split Tower?" Yu Bing calmed herself down and looked at her brother again. She realized that after not seeing him for a few months, he seemed different. Her brother seemed to have become heroic and unparalleled. He had a faint aura that gave people a sense of security like a mountain. "Fourth mother is worried about you, so she sent me to bring you back." Yu Yang stretched out his hand and caressed Yu Bing's soft hair, smiling slightly. "I also want to go back, but I haven't finished my training yet. Without the Heart of Oak to level up, my Treeman Warrior is not their match." Yu Bing was talking about the New Year's tournament that the clan used to test the strength of the younger generation. Yu Bing was determined to help her parents and brother, so she came to Sky Split Tower to train. If she went back now, she reckoned that she would not be able to defeat Yu Tian and Yu Yin, who were heavily trained by the clan. Although the Treeman Warrior had already leveled up to bronze-ranked level 3, its speed was still too slow. Furthermore, Yu Tian and Yu Yin both had fire-type beasts that could restrain the Treeman Warrior. They were the clan's focus on training, so they had strong puppet beasts. Even if they sent their puppet beasts to fight against the Treeman warrior, they would not be at a disadvantage. Don't worry, I'll accompany you to complete your training in these 2 days. After that, we'll go home. Yu Yang patted Yu Bing's head pitifully. The fourth branch had always relied on this little girl to support them. The pitiful guy originally had the heart, but was powerless. These few years, she had suffered a lot. Yes, Yu Bing was very touched when she heard this. She finally had a brother that she could rely on. Although he had just contracted a summoning grimoire not long ago and was still a beginner apprentice, he only had a thorny flower and couldn't even summon his guardian beast. However, for a hidden genius like him, as long as he persevered and trained hard, there would be a day where he would stand out. At this moment, Yu Bing made up her mind to help Yu Yang increase his strength. She decided to buy a good beast for her brother and bring him to train. She wanted him to show his face in the clan's New Year's tournament and show off his hidden talent. She wanted to give the clan a shocking response that he was definitely not a trash, but a genius. At the same time, she wanted to give her parents a big surprise. Hui Tai Lang listened for a long time and realized that he had been completely ignored. He immediately walked to Yu Yang's feet and rubbed against them. He wagged his tail in a flattering manner, as if he was saying, "I'm also here to welcome the mistress of the house." Its appearance gave Yu Bing a shock. She stared dumbfoundedly at the two-headed Hui Tai Lang in front of her. Its nose was spewing smoke, and its body was covered in black flames from time to time. This is a bronze-ranked, level 5, two-headed demon wolf? How could it be so intimate with her brother? Strange, this was obviously a wild wolf that had not been contracted before. Brother, it? Yu Bing saw that Yu Yang had kicked away the two-headed demon wolf that was trying to flatter him. She was even more flabbergasted. Don't mention it. I get angry when you mention it. Whenever Yu Yang remembered that Hui Tai Lang had swallowed the smoke monster and the demonic fire beast, his heart would burn with anger. Those were bronze-ranked, level 3 magic crystals, yet it ate them without his consent. This fellow Hui Tai Lang was already like this in front of him. If it were to carry him behind his back, wouldn't it turn the heavens upside down? Previously, he didn't have the time to care about it. Now that he thought about it, if he didn't give it a good beating, it would really be letting it off lightly. This two-headed demon wolf is brother's beast? Yu Bing's cute eyes widened. She couldn't believe it at all. You can say that. It's called Hui Tai Lang. It's a gluttonous, lowly dog. It's born to be beaten. Yu Yang nodded. Woof. Hui Tai Lang ran over eagerly, wagging its tail. Its level had increased very quickly, but it was a pity that its foreign language level could not keep up. It was still a little short of a standard dog's bark. Brother, how did you get it? Yu Bing didn't think that there would be any beast shop that would sell a bronze-ranked level 5 two-headed demon wolf. Even if there was, it wouldn't be tamed like this. How could there be a bronze-ranked beast that people could kick? If a bronze-ranked level 5 two-headed demon wolf was beaten like this by others, its loyalty would probably drop to rock bottom, and it would defect before the battle even started. It's like this. Yu Yang started to bluff the little girl again. He vividly described how he found a batch of beast eggs worth 5 coppers in a corner of a beast shop. They were covered in dust, and nobody cared about them at all. This Hui Tai Lang had been casually bought from that batch of beast eggs that were worth 5 copper coins. When it hatched, it was the weakest level 2 iron-clawed wolf. It was unknown if it ate a fire-breathing pepper or something, but it suddenly evolved into a bronze-ranked level 3 iron-backed demon wolf. Then it entered Tong Tian Tower and ate the smoke monster and the demonic fire beast, finally turning into this ugly monster. In the end, Yu Yang expressed his dissatisfaction that Hui Tai Lang was a troublemaker and a glutton. It was not a good beast at all. These words, let alone Yu Bing, even the medical staff at the side were petrified. Who was he bluffing? Every beast egg in the beast shop had to go through at least 10 tests. The information about the beast would only be sold when it could not be more accurate. Moreover, they had never heard of a beast egg being bought for 5 coppers. This wasn't an egg. Where's that beast shop? Let's go buy that batch of 5 coppers worth of beast eggs. Maybe there's a second Hui Tai Lang. The only person present who believed in what Yu Yang said was Fatty Hai. Yi Kong covered his face. He was worried that this damned fatty's retardation would be contagious if they stayed together for too long. He was now sure that this Fatty Hai would die from stupidity in the future. There wouldn't be a second way to die. If he believed that he could buy a bronze-ranked level 5 Hui Tai Lang for 5 coppers in a beast shop, then he might as well daydream. He imagined that there would be a super strong mythical beast that would run to him and insist on signing a contract with him no matter what. Was this possible? Absolutely not. If it was possible, there would be meat pies falling from the sky. He had seen silly and naive people before, but he had never seen a pig head as silly and naive as Fatty Hai. Spending 5 coppers to buy a Hui Tai Lang. How could he even think of it? No matter what, it's a good thing that brother has a strong beast. Yu Bing was happy for her brother. With a bronze-ranked level 5 Hui Tai Lang, everyone in the Yu clan castle would probably be shocked by her brother's performance in the New Year's tournament. There was no need to mention how happy her parents would be. Are you guys going to the Blackstone Labyrinth to do the Oak Tree's Heart quest? I'm going too. The bright-eyed Anan had arrived at some point in time. Brother Anan, could it be that you have some clues on how to clear the stage? Yu Yang asked while grinning. When Yu Bing heard Yu Yang mention Anan, she immediately felt dizzy for her brother's taste. She thought to herself, it seems like it's not good to not go out. Her brother was so nerdy that he couldn't even differentiate between a man and a woman. I have a chain quest, and one of them is the Oak Tree's Heart. My aunt said that if you can complete this chain quest excellently, you can get at least 1 gold-ranked beast weapon or accessory. If the completion rate is extremely good, then you can even slightly increase the intelligence of 1 or 2 beasts. Do you guys want to team up with me and try? Although the bright-eyed Anan was still a little angry with Yu Yang, she did not forget to invite him for a chain quest. Chain quest. Yi Kong was about to go crazy. One had to at least be a level 5 Grandmaster to be able to complete chain quests. Could it be that this brother Anan had already reached level 5? Increase the intelligence of beasts. Fatty Hai opened his mouth wide, and a stream of saliva flowed down like a waterfall. Chapter 72. You guys should get a good beast first. Anan's words brought everyone to the beast shop. Yi Kong didn't have a beast, and the Lee brothers' sickle beasts were trash. If they didn't get a good beast, they wouldn't even be able to pass the Blackstone Labyrinth's Heart of Oak Tree, let alone the chain quest. Originally, Yu Yang only hired them to look for Yu Bing. Now that the mission was completed, if it was someone else, they would probably pay the reward and go their separate ways. However, Yu Yang felt that Yi Kong and the others might not be of much help in battle, but in terms of survival experience in the first floor of Tong Tian Tower, they far surpassed Yu Bing and Anan. With their participation, completing the chain quest would be much smoother. Hence, Yu Yang decided to keep Yi Kong and the others. Even if they took a step back, Yi Kong was still a genius who had passed his prime. If he didn't lose his beast, how would he have fallen to such an unlucky state? The Lee brothers' beasts were low-leveled, and the strength they provided after strengthening and fusing was limited. However, the Lee brothers' combat skills were not bad, and their vitality was strong enough. They could compete with Hui Tai Lang, the cockroach. Of course, they couldn't be independent, but they were quite qualified to be laborers. As for Fatty Hai, who had a summoning grimoire, his evaluation in Yu Yang's heart was the worst. This guy didn't have any experience and was purely a burden. Fatty Hai's only advantage was that he was a scapegoat. If Yang needed someone to block attacks from the open and hidden, Fatty Hai would undoubtedly be the best fat shield. After receiving the 100 gold coins reward from the Warriors Guild, Yu Yang, Yu Bing, Anan, Yi Kong, Fatty Hai, and the others went to the 100 Roaring Beast shop. Upon entering, the bronze-ranked level 5 Hui Tai Lang scared all the adult beasts in the shop to the ground. It was only now that Yu Yang realized that a bronze-ranked level 5 beast was already the limit of a normal warrior's pursuit. We'll give you 500 as a deposit first. If you accept, you and your friends will forever be our shop's VIP customers. You'll always enjoy a 20% discount when you shop. Furthermore, we'll give you a bronze-ranked 4-star beast egg for free to make up for your loss. Your friends can choose a beast for free. As long as our people successfully sign a contract with this two-headed demon wolf, we will immediately pay you another 500 gold. That fair and plump steward tried his best to persuade Yu Yang to sell Hui Tai Lang to him. His eyes were sharp and shrewd. He could tell that Hui Tai Lang was at least a 5-star and above top-ranked beast. He kept pestering Yu Yang, insisting on buying it no matter what. Head manager, you are too naive. You think you can take down a psychic two-headed demon wolf with just 1,000 gold? Inan sneered. The price is negotiable. We can sit down and discuss it slowly. The chief manager smiled. I'm not selling. I'm not selling it no matter how much it costs. You being rejected flatly. You have to understand that we came here to buy beasts, not to sell them. If you don't want to do business, then let's change to another beast shop. Although Yu Yang didn't want to sign a contract with Hui Tai Lang, he felt that his life would be more interesting with this greedy and obedient dog by his side. Without a punching bag like this to vent his anger, what would he do in the future? Furthermore, this was a beast that he had raised himself. How could he sell it to others? Yu Yang didn't say it, but he would never sell Hui Tai Lang in his heart. The chief manager had no choice but to remind him repeatedly that if Yu Yang wanted to sell Hui Tai Lang, he could look for him at any time. At that time, he would be hugging a beauty in the middle of the night, preparing to study bedroom techniques, so he wasn't afraid of disturbing him. In a 100 Roaring Beast shop, all beasts were level 3 and below. Even level 4 beasts were rare, not to mention bronze-rank beasts. Inan and Yu Bing looked for a long time, but they didn't like any of them. Yi Kong and the others also felt that there weren't any good beasts here, but in reality, they didn't dare to ask for too much. It's not bad to have a level 3 big baboon. Furthermore, it's a strengthening type beast, just like my golden ape king. Yi Kong's heart turned sour. If his golden ape king was still here, why would it look at this level 3 big baboon? This big baboon had already matured completely, and probably wouldn't be able to level up for the rest of its life. Although level 3 wasn't considered low, being unable to level up for the rest of its life made people feel despair. Could it be that he was destined to be a mediocre and useless guide for the rest of his life? His dreams when he was young, his parents' expectations. We'll take those 2 wind wolves. We have the wind sickle ferret to strengthen us, and with the help of 2 wind wolves, our strength will increase by quite a bit. Li Chiat and Li Gu, on the other hand, were much more realistic. They felt that having these 2 wind wolves was already a great blessing. If they didn't get to know Yu Yang, they wouldn't have anything at all. Right now, they were at least honorary warriors who had gone on an expedition to the Demon Abyss. Although they hadn't killed a single demon, at least they had gone to the Demon Abyss. How many mercenaries in this world would have the chance to counterattack the Demon Abyss? The Li brothers felt that they wouldn't be able to accomplish anything great in this lifetime. It would be better for them to be honest and hardworking mercenaries. That was the most down-to-earth life. For a man like Yu Yang, who could even kill a demon general by himself, would he need mercenaries other than hard labor? Hearing Yi Kong and the Li brothers' words, Yu Yang frowned slightly. He turned toward the manager and asked, "Do you have any good quality beast eggs here?" The manager had been staring at Hui Tai Lang without blinking. When he heard Yu Yang's words, he had an idea. "You can take a look at our beast eggs, look at them as you please. Everyone can pick one, all free of charge. As long as you're willing to sell Hui Tai Lang to us, you can do whatever you want. Please remove the last part of your sentence. We only need beast eggs. Do you understand? Thank you." Inan was almost speechless at the manager's behavior. All right. The manager was very regretful. His appearance was as sad as if his wife had run away with someone else after emptying their family property. Although beast eggs were better than adult beasts, the price was still 10 times more expensive. Yi Kong was quite satisfied. He had his eyes on a beast egg that had a lot of potential. After it hatched, its growth wouldn't be much worse than the Golden Ape King. It would probably be a level 4 Iron Arm Demon Ape. As for the 2 bronze-ranked beast eggs that could hatch a Howling Wind Tiger and a Shadow Wolf, their price had already exceeded 100 gold coins. This was not something he could even imagine. The reward for the expedition to the Demon Abyss was only 100 gold coins. Furthermore, He and the Lee brothers hadn't done anything. They had only followed along to take a look. Being able to obtain an iron-armed demon ape was already their biggest wish. Yu Yang still shook his head. They're all trash. Do you have any other beast eggs? The manager almost choked. He thought to himself, it's easy for you to say that. You have a bronze-ranked level 5, two-headed demon wolf. Of course you would think that it's trash. But if it were other warriors, they wouldn't be able to get a bronze-ranked shadow wolf and howling wind tiger, even if they drooled. However, since it was a distinguished guest, the manager still used his best service attitude. With a smiling face, he took out the shop's treasure for Yu Yang to see. The shop's treasure, priced at 500 gold coins. It was a lightning demon leopard, a bronze-ranked beast egg. After 20 tests, the result was the same, 4 stars. The authoritative beast appraisal master believed that this lightning demon leopard's final evolution level would probably be bronze-ranked level 4. If it was fed with a lot of electric-type magic crystals for a long period of time, it could even rise to bronze-ranked level 5. The only flaw was that it would take a long time to mature. It would probably take at least 3 years. Furthermore, it was too stable. The probability of it evolving into a silver-ranked beast was extremely low. Although this beast egg was nothing much to the entire 100 Roaring Beast shop, in this shop on the first floor, it was the shop's treasure. No, it's trash. Yu Yang used his divine vision to see through this beast egg. Not to mention Hui Tai Lang. Even compared to the beast egg he obtained from the Ares Temple's energy cauldron, the difference was like heaven and earth. His beast egg was evaluated to be 5 stars. This lightning demon leopard, which was known as a 4-star beast, was actually only 3.5 stars. It had not reached the standard of a 4-star beast. It was only because it did not have 3.5 stars that it was evaluated to be 4 stars. It could be said that in the evaluation of all the 4-star beasts, this 4-star lightning demon leopard would be the weakest of all the 4-star beasts. The manager was about to vomit blood. Young master, how can you say that it's trash? It's a 4-star beast. You said 5 stars? Who would bring a 5-star beast egg to a beast shop to sell? If there really was, the country would have priority to buy it. All the big clans would also spend a lot of money to buy it. If you want a 5-star beast egg, you have to at least reach the 3rd floor of Tong Tian Tower. How many stars does this beast egg in your hand have? Let me use a crystal tester to test it. Heavens, 5 stars? I'm going to faint. Yu Yang's original intention was to find a good beast for Yu Bing, but after looking at it, he realized that they were all trash beasts. He steeled his heart and directly took out the 5-star beast egg from his bosom and gave it to Yu Bing. The manager of the Roaring 100 Beasts enthusiastically tested it, but in the end, he fainted from fright. Why did this brat only bring a bronze-ranked level 5 two-headed demon wolf with him? How could he casually take out a 5-star beast egg? Even a prince wouldn't be this arrogant, right? Who exactly was he? 3rd brother, you keep it. I'm not good at beasts other than plant-type beasts. I don't want it. You keep it. Yu Bing hurriedly stuffed the beast egg back into Yu Yang's bosom. I'm going to faint too. Fatty High drooled again. Why don't we bet on our luck? Yi Kong, you guys choose a beast egg and a chaos egg. Let's see what the reaction will be after the fusion. If it's not good, then accept your fate. What Anand said was a terrifying gamble. Mercenaries normally wouldn't dare to use it. Usually, some of the elite soldiers in the army would use this kind of extreme method to gamble on their own lives when they were eager to stand out from the crowd. A chaos egg was a kind of primitive egg without an embryo. No one knew what its attributes were, and no one knew what the reaction would be after the fusion with the beast. There was a 50% chance that the two would repel each other, and the fusion between the chaos egg and the beast would fail, and the beast would die on the spot. There was a 30% chance that the beast's abilities would be affected by the chaos egg, and its strength would be weakened. There was a 15% chance that the beast would not change, and the chaos egg would not affect the beast at all. There was a small 5% chance that the chaos egg and the beast would successfully fuse, and the beast's strength would increase or mutate to a different degree. It was said that there was a 1 in 10,000 chance that the chaos egg and the beast would fuse perfectly. After the fusion, the beast would immediately mutate and level up, and could even mutate from a normal rank to a bronze rank. For thousands of years, countless people had tried to fuse countless times. Other than a few lucky ones, almost everyone's fusion had ended in tragedy. A 1 in 10,000 chance was enough to make people despair. For example, in the 100 Roaring Beasts shop, no one had successfully mutated for more than 50 years. It was recorded on the wall that a lucky one had done it 50 years ago. I'll bet. Yikong's hands trembled, but he gratefully nodded towards Anan. This was his last chance to turn things around. Without enough money, he would bet on his luck. Since he was already a cripple, as long as there was a sliver of hope, he would bet until the end. If the iron-armed demon ape that he chose could level up to bronze rank, then everything would come back. The dreams of his youth, the expectations of his parents, all of these could be realized, as long as the heavens didn't abandon him and gave him enough luck. Yiyang was curious. So there is actually such a way to gamble? If that was really the case, then would his divine vision inherent skill be of use? Seeing the manager's respectful but secretly mocking expression, Yu Yang's heart was filled with anger. Are you arrogant? I'll just have to find a suitable one to anger you to death. Yikong was so nervous that his whole body was trembling. He held the iron-armed demon ape's beast egg and looked at the row of chaos eggs, not knowing which one to choose. There was only one chance. This was a gamble. Even if the beast died, it had to take up 2 summoning slots. If he chose wrongly, then his life would be completely over. Is it that hard to choose? I think this one is not bad. Yu Yang casually picked up a chaos egg and passed it to Yikong. His attitude was indifferent, as if he was picking up a bean from the ground. Everyone was shocked by his action. This was not a joke. He had to be extremely cautious. This was because once the chaos egg fused with the beast, there would be no possibility of reneging. The beast's life or death, crippled or good, all depended on this gamble. No one knew that Yu Yang had a level 2 divine vision inherent skill. Actually, when everyone was choosing, he had already found the chaos egg that was the most compatible with the iron-armed demon ape. On the surface, his actions were indifferent, but in reality, he was purposely trying to deceive the cunning manager. If this fellow knew that this chaos egg was the most compatible, it would be strange if he didn't take the opportunity to threaten Hui Tai Lang or raise the price by 100 times. Third young master, I believe you. Yikong saw the brilliant smile on Yu Yang's face and was enlightened. Gritting his teeth, he decided to believe in Yu Yang. He bit his finger hard and used his trembling fingers to draw the same contract pattern on the 2 beast eggs. In the end, he suppressed the fear in his heart and closed his eyes, contracting with the 2 beast eggs at the same time. The result would be decided in a second. The 2 beast eggs would fuse into one. Whether it would die or become crippled, whether it would be strengthened or mutated, would immediately appear in front of his eyes. A burst of golden light appeared between Yikong's fingers. The manager's mouth opened wide, so wide that a battle Kodo beast could be stuffed inside. He had not seen a miracle for more than 50 years. Today, it was actually miraculously born in front of his eyes. All of this came from the young man in front of him, casually grabbing it. The mutation was successful. It's a bronze-ranked gold steel demon ape. Third young master, Yikong's life was saved by you. Yikong immediately knelt down in front of Yikong's feet and hugged his legs. He was so emotional that he couldn't hold back his tears. The gamble was successful. From this moment onwards, the crippled Yikong would obtain a new life. The dreams of the past, the expectations of his parents, everything could all be returned. Now, he finally had the face to go back and kowtow to his parents. Finally, he wouldn't have to look at their despairing eyes. Now, he had obtained a new life that was equivalent to his second one. The corner of Yu Yang's lips curled into a smile. This was only the beginning. He wanted to use his divine vision to see through more. Although a suitable chaos egg was very difficult to find, Yikong's chaos egg was just a coincidence. However, with his divine vision, as long as he spent time searching, would he still be afraid that he wouldn't be able to find a suitable one? His sister Yu Bing and Anan both needed strong beasts. Why didn't he use this kind of gamble method and choose a good beast egg to give to them? Yu Yang, who had already made up his mind, had just helped Yikong up and was about to comfort him when he suddenly discovered that the chaos egg in Fatty High's hands had an indescribable, strange reaction. This chaos egg was strange. It was very different from other chaos eggs. What kind of beast egg was it? What use would it have? Chapter 73. In order not to attract the manager's attention, Yu Yang casually bought another 10 chaos eggs, practically grabbing them with his eyes closed. Just as Yu Yang had imagined, in order to show off, Fatty High insisted on putting the chaos egg in Yu Yang's hands. I have a premonition that this chaos egg is definitely a good egg. Let's buy it. What? Don't want it? Manager, we've bought so many beasts and so many chaos eggs. If you don't give this one to me, I won't come again in the future. If you give me one, I'll even put in a good word for you. Maybe that brat will be moved and sell Hui Tai Lang to you. That's right. That's the right way to do business. This one is free. Give me a 10% discount card. Don't worry. I'll definitely persuade that brat to sell Hui Tai Lang to you. You don't know that I'm his boss. He listens to everything I say. Wait a minute, put my chaos egg in the bag too. If Fatty High wasn't so greedy, Yu Yang would have also used his miracle hands empty-handed to steal away this mysterious chaos egg. Of course, no matter how good this egg was, he must never let the manager know. Otherwise, it would be weird if he was willing to sell it. If the manager knew that this egg had a mysterious power, then it would be too easy for him. Why did you buy so many chaos eggs? Anne couldn't understand, but if Yu Yang wanted to do this, she wouldn't oppose it. She faintly felt that this brat had some ulterior motive. Just now in the 100 Roaring Beast store, Anne resisted asking, but after coming out, she couldn't help but be curious. Third brother definitely has his reasons for doing this. Yu Bing thought that Yu Yang really had a concealment inherent skill and could know the hidden attributes of beasts. Could it be that the chaos egg that matched perfectly just now wasn't a stroke of luck? Anne was shocked. This brat had this kind of ability? Yi Kong and the Li brothers didn't speak, only looking deeply at Yu Yang. They didn't say it out loud, but their gratitude was in their hearts. In the eyes of others, perhaps Yu Yang was a selfish man who never cared about others. Not only did he like to lie, but he was also extremely shameless. However, those who had truly interacted with Yu Yang had a completely different feeling in their hearts. Although this Yu Clan third young master did not say it out loud, it did not mean that he did not care about others. For example, how many people could travel thousands of miles to find his sister Yu Bing? When Yu Bing woke up, he didn't say anything about his sister. He didn't. However, he was a brother who insisted on carrying his sister on his back, even if he had to go to the demonic abyss. He would never abandon his sister. Facing the 10-1 MO ghosts, he did not use his companions as meat shields in exchange for his merit points. He had never abandoned his family or his companions, even if they were just some trash or poor people who were about to starve to death. When he saw that his comrade had been sucked into the dimension of duel by the powerful demon general, he did not say a single word and rushed forward to rescue them without a care for his own safety. How many men like him were there in this world? I have a premonition. Really, I feel that that chaos egg is of the highest quality. It might even be a giant dragon's chaos egg. You guys don't know that I was born into this world to identify chaos eggs. I messed it up. Which chaos egg was the one I picked? When Fatty High said this, everyone secretly laughed. This fellow did not even know how to look and only spoke nonsense. If they believed him, they would be in big trouble. Only Yu Yang knew that Fatty High's greedy action this time had really hit the jackpot. The chaos egg that Fatty High had picked was indeed of the highest quality. Of course, he would not say it out loud. He only casually passed the other completely useless chaos egg to Fatty High. Cook this one and eat it. Maybe you will mutate into a bronze-ranked wild boar. When Anne and Yu Bing heard this, they covered their small mouths and snickered. However, Fatty High's skin was especially thick, and he did not care. He took it and boasted proudly, "If I want to mutate, I will also mutate into a giant dragon." Yi Kong and the Li brothers were really confused. They thought to themselves, Fatty Hai said that you are fat, and you are still panting? After finding a warrior's dojo to stay in, Yi Yang took out the 5-star beast egg in his bosom and placed it together with the chaos egg with a mysterious power. This action almost made everyone's heart break. It was a 5-star beast egg. If it was not fused, it would be destroyed. Even if it was not fused, it would still be a 5-star beast. Why take such a risk and gamble? Not to mention Yi Kong, Fatty Hai, and the others. Even Yu Bing and Inan, who supported Yu Yang the most, were against Yu Yang doing this. They felt that even if there was a 1% chance of failure, they should not gamble with a 5-star beast egg. The probability of a beast egg and chaos egg being compatible was really very low. If Yi Kong was originally a cripple, it would be worth it to take the risk and gamble. However, with the current Yu Yang, was there really a need for him to take the risk? Seventh sister, you do the contract. Yu Yang's attitude made Yu Bing and Inan feel incredulous. Everyone understood that if Yu Yang did not have the confidence, he would definitely not let his sister Yu Bing do the contract. Now that he had asked Yu Bing to do the contract, didn't that mean that the fusion this time would definitely succeed? Yu Bing looked at Yu Yang anxiously. After a long time, she asked with a trembling voice, Brother, what beast is this? Is it plant type? Yu Yang was shocked in his heart. Could it be that Yu Bing could only use plant-type beasts? I've tested it in the academy. Plant-type beasts can display more than 120% of their power, but for other types, the highest they can display is less than 50%. I'm the most unorthodox student. I'm only good at plant-type beasts. If it's not a plant-type beast, and brother really has the confidence, then let brother Anan contract it. Yu Bing felt that it would be a waste if she couldn't use the contract. Rather than that, she might as well give it to Anan, her future sister-in-law. Anyway, her brother's engagement had been broken off. Wouldn't it be better to use this beast to get closer to her? No, I can't accept such a precious beast egg. Anan hurriedly shook her head and waved her hands. If the fusion was really successful and it evolved, wouldn't it be a 6-star beast egg? Anan felt that she didn't have any relationship with this brat at all. They had only met by chance. How could she accept such a precious gift from him? Towards Anan, Yu Yang actually felt a little apologetic in his heart. That day in Merry Forest, when he fought with Wu Yi and Xiehua, Anan didn't know that he was an expert. She didn't run away, but stayed behind to fight with Wu Yi and Xiehua. In the end, the hallucinatory butterfly and shadow leopard died because he had hidden his strength. Anan suffered a mental backlash in the process of protecting him and even fainted. If he gave this beast egg to her, it could be considered as making up for the loss of the hallucinatory butterfly and shadow leopard. Seeing that her brother didn't object, Yu Bing's heart moved. She pulled Anan's hand. Brother Anan, why don't you give something to my third brother as well? We can exchange it. That would be enough. Hearing her words, Anan thought of something. Maybe that legendary thing would be useful to him. Anan took a strange necklace with a light purple gem from her snow-white neck and gave it to Yu Yang. Since it's like this, let's exchange. Yu Yang took the strange necklace with Anan's body fragrance. Suddenly, he felt a great shock in his heart. A soundless roar sounded from the bottom of his heart. It seemed to be angry, but also seemed to be happy. It was more like a summoning, a calling. What was this? Could it be that inside this gem, there was a strong spirit living inside? What kind of level was this spirit? When Yu Yang curiously used his innate qi to explore it, he was shocked to find that the light purple gem was frantically absorbing his innate qi. He felt a great pain in his fingers, and there was actually blood flowing out, seeping into the light purple gem. Yi Kong and the others watched dumbfoundedly as a brilliant golden light emerged from the gem in Yu Yang's hand. In an instant, the whole house was dyed gold. Even a strong bronze-ranked level 5 Hui Tai Lang was frightened by this brilliant golden light, its legs trembling. Reflected in the golden light on the wall, a creature that no one had seen before appeared. It had golden eyes, sharp teeth, scales, horns for claws, and a pair of wings. In just a second, the level 3 wind wolf that had just been bought and had been following the Lee brothers all this while fainted from fright. Is this a giant dragon? Fatty High's mouth opened so wide that it could easily fit a mammoth inside. Oh my God! Yikong also felt like fainting. The mercenaries outside did not know what was going on, but the beast with sharp senses immediately reacted. Around the martial arts school, countless beasts were so scared that they peed their pants and lay on the ground. Some beasts that were further away were so scared that they ran away. Even their masters couldn't stop them. A few bird-type beasts that were flying in the sky were so scared that they fell to the ground. None of them could fly normally, especially the flying beasts that had just flown over the martial arts school. They were so scared that they lost control and fainted. Their eyes turned white as they fell to the ground with a thud. The light purple gem in Yu Yang's hand shattered, and a golden light shot towards his chest. This gave Yu Yang a fright, and he hurriedly used his hand to block it. Unexpectedly, the golden light bypassed his fingers as if it had a mind of its own, passing through the gaps between his fingers and entering his chest. Yu Yang cried out loudly and hurriedly took off his shirt. However, he discovered that the mysterious metal fragment that was originally in his bosom was melting in the golden light. In the end, under everyone's gaze, it turned into a ball of liquid metal. It turned out that after the mysterious black metal fragment had turned into a ball of liquid, it was continuously being purified. The black residue dripped onto the ground, and finally, it turned into a clean silver-white color. About 3 seconds later, the floating ball of liquid metal turned into a small golden beast that no one could recognize. It had a silver body with golden stripes, purple eyes and red claws, a round head and a long tail, and wings on its back. It looked extremely cute. This thing's appearance was completely different from what Yu Yang and the others had imagined. Everyone had thought that it would turn into a small golden dragon. Who would have thought that it would turn into this strange appearance that no one could recognize? This silver-white gold beast with mysterious golden lines all over its body jumped onto the table nimbly and pounced straight towards the dark green snake crystal that Yu Yang had obtained from the three-headed chimera at the Ares temple after he cut off its head. Yu Yang's eyes and hands were quick, and before it opened its mouth to bite, he hurriedly kept the dark green snake crystal. The silver-white golden beast was like a greedy cat as it jumped around, wanting to snatch the dark green snake crystal from Yu Yang's hands. It wanted to eat it no matter what. Everyone felt dizzy. What was this thing? Was it a living creature? Or a metal puppet? It looked like it had intelligence, but it still looked like a child. It was obviously a small golden beast, but it wanted to eat, and it even wanted to eat magic crystals. What was going on? Yu Bing, Inan, Yikong, Fatty High, and the Lee brothers all looked at Yu Yang in confusion, hoping that he could explain. This mysterious golden beast, what exactly was it? Chapter 74. Yu Yang picked up the mysterious golden beast and used his divine vision to examine it. In the end, he was shocked to find that this little thing could not be seen through with his level 2 divine vision. The strangest thing was that this mysterious golden beast had automatically contracted with him. Yu Yang had only encountered this kind of situation once before, and that was with the Lamia lowly little one Li. Could it be that this mysterious golden beast was also a diamond-ranked existence? What was that image from before? It looked like a Chinese dragon god, but it had wings. After it merged with the metal, it turned into this strange appearance. It was really hard to understand. Hey, it's melting, Fatty High shouted. As Yu Yang held the mysterious golden beast and examined it, he suddenly realized that the surface of the golden beast's body had started to melt. It turned back into a ball of liquid and wrapped around the dark green snake crystal that Yu Yang refused to let it eat. It then attached itself to Yu Yang's wrist and gradually transformed into a strange wrist guard. In the middle of the wrist guard, the dark green snake crystal slightly revealed a sharp edge. Yu Yang could feel that this golden beast was slowly absorbing the energy of the dark green snake crystal. At the same time, it was slowly expelling the turbid demonic energy that it did not need through the sharp edge. When he connected with it with his mind, he could see that this little thing was sleeping comfortably. It did not look like a golden beast at all. It looked more like a living creature, but its body was made of metal. This was really strange. Facing such a strange beast, Yu Yang really could not understand. In the end, he looked at Anan with a questioning gaze. I don't know either. Anan also waved her hands in puzzlement. She paused for a while and explained softly, I've only heard of a legend. A long time ago, my ancestor was an extremely strong warrior. When he was training in the 8th floor of Tong Tian Tower, he was attacked by a few demon abyss rankers. His life was in danger, but he was saved by a magical beast that was passing by. Those few demon abyss rankers were no match for it, so they found even more helpers and joined forces to summon the terrifying Bone Dragon, Ice Demon King, Spirit Behemoth, and Hell Black Dragon King to attack that beast together. A great battle that could destroy heaven and earth erupted between the two sides. The sun and moon lost their radiance. Sand and stones flew everywhere. The distant ancestor could no longer approach the battlefield, so he could only temporarily escape. 3 days later, when he returned to the battlefield, he discovered that the mountains and rivers had become abysses, the earth had collapsed, and the entire battlefield was a mess. The distant ancestor didn't know how the battle situation was, and he couldn't find any useful clues. I'm your boss. It's only a bronze-ranked level 2 Iron Rhinoceros. You can't just leave me in the lurch. Give me an entire beast as well. I don't ask for much. Just any gold-ranked beast will do. Before Fatty Hai could finish speaking, Yikong had already kicked him to the ground and even stomped on his round toad-like belly with all his might. Did this fatty's brain get flooded with water? Gold-ranked? Since when could gold-ranked beasts be everywhere? However, Yu Yang really had the heart to help the Li brothers and Fatty Hai get a bronze-ranked beast. After all, their strength was too weak, and they would be a burden. It would be disadvantageous for them to team up and train in the future. Yu Yang would rarely say things that he didn't do. He only nodded towards the Li brothers. Li Chia and Li Ge felt a surge of warmth in their hearts. They already knew that Yu Yang wouldn't ignore them, but now that they saw him nodding his head, silently confirming it, they couldn't help but feel an indescribable emotion in their hearts. Becoming a ranker was the dream of every warrior in the soaring dragon continent. The Li brothers had the self-awareness of being a laborer, but it didn't mean that they didn't desire to become stronger. Yu Bing, let's go buy some things. Later, we'll go to the infirmary for a checkup. If there are no problems, then we'll go to the Blackstone Labyrinth. Anan kept her little silver Pegasus and pulled Yu Bing away. When she reached the door, she turned around and said, Liar third young master, you and Fatty should also get ready. Leave it to us. We'll pick you up at the entrance of the infirmary later. Yikong didn't need Yu Yang to buy daily necessities and brought the Li brothers out. They were also preparing to go to the Warriors Guild to send a message to one Yu Mo, Zi Yun, and Qin Yang, telling them that Yu Bing had been found. At the same time, they would also send them some money so that they wouldn't starve to death while waiting. Yikong and the others hurried out, but Yu Yang had nothing to do. He picked up the egg knife and started to study it. Originally, he wanted to study the mysterious golden beast, but Fatty Hai shamelessly insisted on staying and refused to return to his room. Yu Yang could only temporarily suppress his curiosity of studying the golden beast. Fatty Hai had been encouraging Yu Yang to study at his school next year. He even said that he, as the boss, would definitely protect Yu Yang. Yu Yang wasn't too interested in going to school. He didn't know what he could learn at school, so he might as well come to Tong Tian Tower to train. Seeing Yu Yang's attitude, Fatty Hai hurriedly used his silver tongue to persuade him. Do you know what our school has the most? That's beauties. Isn't the school with the most beauties Shangjing School? Yu Yang was curious. Although he hadn't been there before, Yu Yang had heard about it before. The Xia Kingdom's Shangjing School and Tian Luo Kingdom's Fragrance Academy were known as the two most beautiful schools in the world. They were famous for their large number of beauties. As for the other big country, Zijin Kingdom's Grey Wolf Academy, it was known as the Desert of Beauties, the home of barbarians. Fortunately, Fatty Hai didn't invite Yu Yang to Grey Wolf Academy. Otherwise, Yu Yang would have kicked him out of the door immediately. Fatty Hai didn't expect that Yu Yang, a blind otaku who didn't even leave his house and couldn't even recognize beauties, would actually know about this gossip. Fatty Hai's skin was thick enough that he didn't even blush. He immediately laughed and said, "Although there are many beauties in Shangjing School, our Ivy Academy isn't that bad either. You don't know, our Ivy Academy is just opposite Shangjing School. Although we aren't that famous, our facilities are not bad. We also have a long history. We were founded at the same time as Shangjing School and have a history of 3,000 years. The most important thing is that there aren't many male students, so there won't be any vicious competition. Think about it again. We are from the Ivy Academy. If we go to Shangjing School to pick up girls and conquer the beauties of the neighboring school, wouldn't that be more fulfilling? How many beauties have you conquered?" When Yu Yang asked, Fatty Hai had the urge to bang his head against the wall. This, of course, there are many. After those school beauties graduated, they still cried and couldn't bear to leave me. In the Ivy Academy, who doesn't know me? The passionate little prince who has never touched a single leaf, who has been surrounded by hundreds of flowers. Let me tell you, I was born into this world to pick up girls. Fatty Hai endured the pain in his heart and patted his trembling fat chest. "You've already picked up all the beauties. Why would I still want to go?" Yu Yang rejected him flatly. "Don't say it like that. There are still a few iceberg beauties, the best of the best. I, your boss, haven't conquered them yet. At that time, the two of us brothers will join hands and conquer them in one go. I, your boss, will suffer a loss, and you can pick the leftovers, then it'll be my turn." Fatty Hai felt that he wasn't persuasive enough, so he added another sentence. "Our Ivy Academy not only have beautiful students, we also have beautiful teachers. There's a top-grade royal sister. Furthermore, she teaches rune summoning techniques. If we can conquer her, it'll be the same as conquering the entire God's ruins." When Yu Yang heard royal sister, runes and treasures, his heart suddenly moved. He asked, "What is the God's ruins?" Fatty Hai purposely lowered his voice and said mysteriously, "The God's ruins. It's the most mysterious place in the entire soaring dragon continent other than Tong Tian Tower. It's a dream country for warriors. Everyone wants to enter and obtain its treasures. Legend has it that there are countless treasures, magic crystals, divine weapons, ancient summoned beasts, and even martial spirits inside." Martial spirits? Yu Yang had never heard of this before. Legend has it that thousands of years ago, many incredibly powerful ultimate warriors emerged in the soaring dragon continent. They fought with each other, and the ultimate warriors who died in battle had their bodies destroyed. However, the remnants of their will were not extinguished, and that was their martial spirit. As long as a warrior obtained it, he would be able to obtain the experience and strength of the ultimate warrior. After cultivating, it's very likely that he would become a new generation of ultimate warriors. The beautiful teacher in our academy is one of the 3 great sages who knows rune summoning techniques. In other words, she holds a key to open the ancient door outside the God's ruins. Think about it. If we can conquer her, wouldn't we be able to get both the person and the treasure? Fatty Hai smiled lewdly, his saliva forming a long line. The God's ruins. Yu Yang had obtained a treasure map from the Ares Temple's energy cauldron. It seemed to be able to confirm Fatty Hai's words. Fatty Hai was about to add oil to the fire to persuade him when suddenly Yi Kong and the Li brothers rushed upstairs. They pushed the door open and said anxiously, "The warrior auction house is preparing to auction the wisdom fruit and the branch of the tree of life. Both of them are extremely helpful to Yu Bing's Treeman warrior." When Yu Yang heard this, he immediately jumped up. "Find Yu Bing. Let's go to the auction house immediately." Chapter 75. When Yu Yang rushed to the infirmary, Anan had just accompanied Yu Bing out of the re-examination. Speaking of the wisdom fruit and the lustrous branch of the tree of life, Yu Bing couldn't help but be moved. However, she also knew that these 2 things were worth thousands of gold, especially the wisdom fruit that could increase a beast's intelligence. In the past, it could be sold for more than 2,000 or even 3,000 gold every time. This kind of expensive thing was not something that she could ask for. As for the lustrous branch of the Tree of Life, it was extremely beneficial for the Treant warrior. However, it was the same as the wisdom fruit. It was also an important ingredient for elixirs. For example, the Spirit Beast Awakening Knowledge Pill that was bought with thousands of gold required the wisdom fruit and the lustrous branch of the Tree of Life. Brother, forget it. The best items in the auction are all the targets of the 4 great sects and the 3 great royal families. We can't compete with them. Yu Bing said it tactfully. Actually, the 4 great clans were also the main competitors in the auction. However, Yu Yang and Yu Bing were the 4th branch, so the Yu clan didn't care about them at all. It was impossible for them to spend thousands of gold to buy a wisdom fruit and a lustrous branch of the Tree of Life for them. If it was Yu Tian, Yu Yin, or the newly famous Yu Feng, the Yu clan's elders would probably agree to nurture them. Let's go and take a look. Yu Yang also knew that he didn't have money, but he didn't plan to use money to bid. He wanted to see who would win the auction and then rob them from behind. For his sister Yu Bing's future, Yu Yang didn't care about being a robber. In Yu Yang's eyes, strangers were NPCs that dropped treasures. Why couldn't he rob them? While they were talking, 3 people came out of the infirmary's infirmary. Yu Yang saw that they were familiar people, the 3 great killing stars. It seemed that they had also successfully defeated the demon general and returned victorious in the expedition to the abyss. However, Feng Qisha, Yin Pejun, and Xue Tanlang didn't look as majestic as before. Feng Qisha's armor was broken and cracked. He seemed to have been severely injured. Although he had recovered from his injuries, he was still a little dispirited. Both of Yin Pejun's arms were bandaged up, and in his hand was a healing stone that was emitting a white light. It seemed that his wounds had not fully recovered yet. Only Xue Tanlang was in a better condition. There were no injuries on his body, and he seemed to be in good spirits. He still had the "I am an ice cube man, and no one should come near me" look. The only difference was that the clothes on his body were tattered like a beggar's. Although they returned victorious, Yu Yang could see that they had paid a heavy price. They were not like him, who had killed a demon general without suffering any losses. When Feng Qisha and the others saw that Yu Yang and the others had all returned alive, they couldn't help but be startled. Looking at Yu Yang's bright smile, the 3 of them were even more puzzled. It was not strange that the Yu clan's 3rd young master, this shameless man, could escape, but how did his entire team of trash come back alive? Could it be that the demon generals that their team faced were all made of tofu? That was a demon general. It would be very strenuous for him to fight against them. How could a few trash like them escape unscathed? When the Ice Cube man Xue Tanlang saw that Yu Yang had no injuries on his body, as if he was on a vacation, and even brought back 2 demon weapon egg knives, he couldn't help but snort coldly. He rushed in front of Yu Yang and stared intently into Yu Yang's eyes, saying, "Let's have a life and death duel. The time and place are up to you." After saying that, he didn't wait for Yu Yang to open his mouth to object. He coolly turned around and left. With regard to this Ice Cube man, Yu Yang really didn't know what to do with him. This was obviously a misunderstanding. If that Miss Xue really wanted to marry him, she could have just sat on the big red sedan chair and married him. Then, they could have bowed to each other and entered the bridal chamber to enjoy a blissful sexual life. Wouldn't that be it? What would there be? If she didn't want to marry him, that would be even better. Once they broke off the engagement, regardless if it was right or wrong, this marriage would be ruined. Then she would regain her freedom. Feng Qisha was also preparing to leave when he suddenly realized that Hui Tai Lang had turned into a 2-headed demon wolf. His face was filled with shock. A bronze-ranked, level 5, 2-headed demon wolf? It was obviously a bronze-ranked level 4 iron-backed demon wolf when they were fighting in the demon abyss. How long had it been? Not even half a day had passed, and it had already evolved into a bronze-ranked level 5, 2-headed demon wolf. Wasn't this leveling speed too terrifying? Evolving and leveling up at the same time. What kind of tonic did this demon wolf eat? He walked over, as if he wanted to ask about Hui Tai Lang's evolution process. However, Yu Yong pretended not to see him. Yi Kong and the others also followed suit. If they weren't looking up at the stars, they would be looking down at the ants. Fatty Hai even whistled as if there was no one else around. Nonsense. A beast's evolution was a big secret. Who would be so idiotic as to tell him? Yu Bing and Inan naturally recognized Feng Qisha and the other two great killing stars. However, they weren't love-struck fools who would scream with all their might when they saw the three great killing stars. Seeing that they didn't see eye to eye with Yu Yong, the two of them didn't bother with them and only talked softly. Feng Qisha seemed to have realized that he had gone overboard. He was a little embarrassed, but he still maintained his poise. He nodded slightly towards Yu Yong and pretended to be at ease as he strode away. After walking for quite a distance, he even turned his head to look at Hui Tai Lang, as if he was extremely interested in Hui Tai Lang. "Hello, Yu Bing." Yin Pejun first greeted Yu Bing, but his eyes were fixed on Yu Yong. A bright smile appeared on his face. So the most outstanding youth in the Yu clan isn't the eldest young master Yu Tian or the fourth young master Yu Yin, but the third young master. I'm so happy to be able to fight in the Demon Abyss with such an outstanding comrade like you. Here, let me introduce myself. I'm called Yin Pejun, the president of Shangjing Academy's Golden Star Elite Student Union. Third young master, I sincerely invite you to join our Shangjing Academy and our Golden Star Elite Student Union. I'm really sorry, but my family is poor. We only have 4 walls in our house, so we don't have any money to go to school. Looks like I can only thank President Yin Pejun for his good intentions. Yu Yong almost said that he was a poor child who had to cut pigweed every day and didn't even have a meal of dumplings to eat during the new year. Inan rolled her eyes when she heard this. How could he come up with such a lousy excuse? Yu Bing was happy. She smiled, her small face smiling. Third young master must be joking. Going to school is not a problem at all. Our Golden Star Elite Student Union can make an exception to enroll elite students. Not only are they free of charge, they can also receive scholarships. If third young master lacks money, you can just tell us. Yin Pejun's face twitched slightly. He really wanted to strangle this shameless fellow in front of him to death. Didn't he just want money? If the Yu clan of the 4 great clans had only 4 walls in their house, would there still be any rich people in this world? Of course, with Yin Pejun's eyesight, he could naturally see that this Yu clan third young master in front of him, the trash that the world laughed at, was actually a shameless man who pretended to be a pig to eat a tiger. This brat definitely had strength. It was just that he was hiding it deeply. If he didn't have strength, why would City Mistress Fallen Flowers let him lead a team to conquer the abyss? If he didn't have strength, how could he return unscathed? Furthermore, he even seized the crescent blade from the demon general's hands. If he didn't have strength, why would that ice-like Xue Tanlang invite him to a duel? In short, whoever believed that this shameless guy was trash, that guy would probably be out of luck. Yin Pejun felt that with this kind of strength and scheming guy, no matter how much he endured, sooner or later he would shake the world. Hence, it was better to rope him in as soon as possible. Furthermore, helping this shameless Yu clan third young master to rise up would be a form of suppression to Yu Tian and Yu Yin, the 2 rivals who had been chasing after him. Even a deaf person would have heard of the conflicts within the Yu clan. If this Yu clan third young master rose up in the clan, he would definitely not let Yu Tian and Yu Yin, his 2 cousins, have an easy time. Cough, cough. Actually, he has to listen to me, the boss, wherever he goes to study. Fatty Hai suddenly stood up and snorted arrogantly. He is my little brother. Wherever I, the boss, go, would he dare to not obediently follow me? Who are you? Yin Pejun looked at him as if he was looking at a fat ant. What? You really don't know me? In the first floor of Tong Tian Tower, you can go to a deserted place and ask around. Who doesn't know me? Young Master Hai. Although I usually keep a low profile, even if I have a summoning grimoire and a bronze-ranked level 2 Iron Rhinoceros, I wouldn't flaunt it everywhere, but with my strength, it's impossible for me to not be famous. Fatty Hai's expression was very surprised. He started to dance with joy exaggeratedly, spittle flying everywhere. I, young Master Hai, am the strongest ranker in the Ivy Academy. I had once led a group of experts to fight their way into the top 100 of the 100 Schools Elite Tournament. You actually don't know me? The expression on Fatty High's face was that of "it's your loss that you don't know me." Yin Pajun, on the other hand, frowned and thought for a long time. Finally, he remembered. I remember now. Aren't you the fatty that was defeated by my little brother in one move during the outer ring elimination last year? You are indeed quite famous. You broke the record of the 100 Schools Elite Tournament, losing in less than 10 seconds. That's because I wasn't prepared. Moreover, I was kind-hearted. I was afraid that I would hurt your little brother. When Fatty High said this, Yin Pajun almost vomited blood. Really? Then I really have to thank you for showing mercy. Yin Pajun realized that this fatty was 100 times more thick-skinned than he had imagined. You're welcome. My biggest strength is that I am kind. Being low-key can only be considered as my second biggest strength. Before Fatty High finished speaking, the Lee brothers couldn't take it anymore. They immediately found a place to vomit. Third young master, are you going to the Ivy Academy next year? Yin Pajun ignored the proud Fatty High and turned to ask Yu Yang with a smile. Trash like me can't do without a boss. Whatever boss says, I will do. If he sends me to the east, I won't dare to go to the west. Yu Yang smiled slightly. We are all the Xiao warriors. Actually, it doesn't matter which school we go to. I just hope that we can form a team and train together. Yin Pajun also knew that his relationship with Yu Tian and Yu Yin was too close. Previously, he had also supported Shin Tu how to suppress Yu Bing. It was unrealistic to want to rope in this Yu clan's third young master. However, he was not anxious. As long as he made use of the Yu clan's conflict and let the three brothers fight each other, he would eventually succeed in suppressing the Yu clan. He smiled apologetically at Yu Bing, hoping that it would be able to relieve the little girl's resentment. He also took the initiative to shake hands with Yikong and the others, and then left in a carefree manner. When he left, Yikong's face immediately darkened. This fellow is not simple. Inan couldn't help but laugh. Aren't you talking nonsense? He is the leader of the three great killing stars. Not only is he strong, his maturity far surpasses the martial addict Feng Qisha and the cold and arrogant Xuetan Lang. As one of the three great killing stars, he was given the cold shoulder and made things difficult for you. Yet he still talked to you with a smile on his face. Is this something a normal person can do? In his eyes, you guys are probably insignificant people, but he still took the initiative to shake hands with you. If you were him, would you be able to do this? Yu Bing also nodded. I have heard my grandfather's evaluation. Among the three great killing stars, the one who will be the hardest to deal with in the future is this Yin Pajun. Yu Yang, who had the divine vision that could see through most of Yin Pajun's strength, was a little disdainful. Yin Pajun's schemes were not bad, but the truly awesome one was still that cool ice cube guy, Xuetan Lang. However, he maintained his silence and did not say what he had seen with his divine vision. When they rushed to the warrior auction house, they found out that it was filled with disappointed mercenaries. After asking around, they found out that the Windstorm mercenary group, who owned the fruit of wisdom and lustrous branch, had decided to postpone the auction for 3 days because they had not agreed on the starting price and the package auction. The conditions that they requested were extremely strange. They wanted to prioritize exchanging and not auctioning. The Windstorm mercenary group hoped that others would use a strong bronze-ranked beast that was evaluated at least 5 stars and above to exchange for the fruit of wisdom and the lustrous branch. Furthermore, they wanted it to be a young beast, not a beast egg. I have an idea. Let's go. We will immediately go to the Blackstone Labyrinth to do the Oak Tree's Heart quest. Yu Yang felt that if it was an exchange, then there was still hope. Does this matter? Inan was stunned when she heard this. Yes. Yu Yang did not dare to say it first, afraid that he would scare Yu Bing and Inan. This time, not only did they complete the Oak Tree's Heart quest, they also had to capture a young 9-headed monster. This crazy action might not be easy to achieve, but Yu Yang still felt that he could use his little brain. Chapter 76, Blackstone Labyrinth. Yu Yang did not advance with everyone as Fatty Hai had imagined. Instead, Yu Yang split the team into two groups. Yi Kong, bring them to the north. Remember, in the process of training, use your brain more. This is not only to obtain the heart of the oak tree, it is also a training process. In the process of training, see more and think more. Otherwise, just walking to the destination will be useless. Yu Yang looked at Fatty Hai again. Although this fellow had a summoning grimoire and a bronze-ranked level 2 iron rhinoceros, Yu Yang reckoned that Fatty Hai's experience was close to zero. Hence, he hinted to Yi Kong to watch him closely, lest he be bitten to death by poisonous snakes or demon insects. Don't worry, I'm here. I'll take care of them. No matter what, I'm still a boss. Fatty Hai patted his chest loudly, his fat jiggling. Yi Kong rolled his eyes. Who's taking care of who? Yi Kong reckoned that if he brought Fatty Hai along, the difficulty of training would increase by at least 3 times. If not for the fact that he had a new beast, he wouldn't be able to guarantee the safety of this stupid pig. Yu Yang brought Yu Bing and Anan to the South Fork that they had walked through previously. On the way, he kept telling Yu Bing about his experience in clearing the checkpoints. Anan felt a little strange. Let's talk about it when we reach the checkpoints. It's still early. I'll go first. You two walk slowly. Yu Bing, be especially careful of poisonous snakes and demon insects. Try not to walk in the dark. I'll wait for you under the 10,000-year ancient oak tree. If you don't see me in 3 days, use a teleportation scroll. I'll be waiting for you at the entrance of the Warriors Guild. Yu Yang couldn't bring them to kill a 9-headed monster. With Yu Bing and Anan's current strength, killing a 9-headed monster would be suicide. Moreover, there was more than one 9-headed monster in the demon's blood swamp. Brother, you have to be careful too. Yu Bing already knew that Yu Yang would go first. Ever since they came out of the auction house, she felt that Yu Yang was planning to take a risk. She couldn't guess what Yu Yang's plan was, but she felt that it must be very difficult and dangerous. Yu Bing had thought of dissuading Yu Yang, but she remembered that he was her brother. No matter what he did, she should support him 100%. Furthermore, he wasn't an impulsive person, so he probably wouldn't act rashly. Most importantly, when she saw that Yu Yang's aura was like a mountain, her confidence inexplicably increased, and she felt that he would definitely succeed. Therefore, Yu Bing decided not to be a burden to her brother. Yu Yang suddenly put his arm around Anan's shoulder and warned softly, Brother Anan, I'm a little worried about leaving Yu Bing in your care. She's not grown up yet, and she's still a big lowly. You can't have any bad thoughts about her, understand? You can also be considered as her brother, so you should take good care of her. At most, I'll introduce you to a beautiful girl next time. What nonsense are you talking about? Anan's body softened a little when he hugged her, but when she heard Yu Yang's words, she immediately fainted. Brother Anan, I trust you the most. You can't let me down. Yu Yang even patted Anan's shoulder earnestly, almost driving Anan crazy. Yu Bing was also sweating profusely. This brother of hers was good at everything, except his eyesight. Why didn't he recognize that Sister Anan was a girl? When Yu Yang brought Hui Tai Lang away, Anan sighed, Yu Bing, your brother's really a big idiot. Yu Bing nodded in agreement. Sister Anan, there's no other way. My brother has been cooped up at home for too long. They didn't know that Yu Yang was doing this on purpose. No matter what, he was just pretending not to recognize Anan. Otherwise, why would she let him hug her shoulders like this? There was a difference between men and women. Once that mysterious veil was removed, it would be hard for Yu Yang to touch her and take advantage of her. The way things are now was pretty good. He could hug her whenever he wanted, and touch her whenever he wanted. The first time he passed through the Blackstone Labyrinth, Yu Yang, who had the Seeking Gold Mice, only used 6 hours to complete the journey that others would need at least 3 days. This time, he didn't need the Seeking Gold Mice to advance easily. He flew forward at full speed. In 3 hours, Yu Yang arrived at the foot of the 10,000-year ancient oak tree. He didn't immediately go to the demon's blood swamp to kill the 9-headed monster. Instead, he climbed up the tree and rested for a while. He borrowed the spiritual energy of the 10,000-year ancient oak tree to improve himself, allowing himself to reach his peak condition. Going to the demon's blood swamp wasn't to kill a nine-headed monster, but to capture a young nine-headed monster and use it alive to exchange for the fruit of wisdom and the lustrous branch of the tree of life. This level of difficulty was something that even Yu Yang, who had reached the innate realm, had a headache over. The nine-headed monster wasn't a normal monster. As long as it was an adult, it would at least be a bronze-ranked level 7 demon beast. In addition to its huge body, fierce poison, and its 9 heads attacking one after another, it was impossible to defend against. If this Blackstone labyrinth didn't have any restrictions, Yu Yang, who had the innate invisible sword Qi, wouldn't need to be so nervous. But in the star's domain, Yu Yang could only protect himself and couldn't attack. Using Little One Li, the barbarian Cao Shadow, and Hui Tai Lang to kill the entire 9-headed monster family and then capture the young 9-headed monster was not realistic, nor was it a smart move. Therefore, he had to think of a good way to capture a young 9-headed monster while still being able to escape unscathed. Before he came to the Blackstone Labyrinth, Yu Yang had thought of a good idea, but it was extremely dangerous. If he wasn't careful, he might lose his life. This method was to use a teleportation scroll to lure a young 9-headed monster out of the demon's swamp, and then use the teleportation scroll. If the teleportation was successful, the 9-headed monster would return to the warrior guild with him, or the teleportation location that he had secretly set up when he was conquering the demon's abyss. Before returning to the warrior guild, although he could use force personally, it would be extremely easy to expose his identity as an innate ranker. There might even be greedy warriors and mercenaries who would try to snatch it. If someone were to die or get injured in the chaos, the ancient law would very likely blame it on him. If the ancient law determined that he was the cause of all the deaths and injuries, he would very likely be punished by the ancient law like in shimming, exploding to death. He didn't understand the ancient code at all. If it was stubborn and wanted whoever caused the massacre to be responsible, then he would be in deep trouble. The second possibility was to teleport to the ancient battlefield in the demon's abyss. There might be 10 1MO ghosts waiting for an opportunity to attack the soaring dragon continent or Tong Tian Tower. If he teleported there, he would most likely be surrounded by 10 1MO ghosts. I will succeed. I will definitely succeed. Yu Yang encouraged himself from the bottom of his heart. Since he was a real man, he should be fearless and move forward bravely. Compared to the ancient code that he didn't understand and couldn't control, Yu Yang would rather choose the demon's abyss. Even if he had to face 10 1MO ghosts, it was still better than watching his body explode and die. At least, in the demon's abyss, he could still use his own hands to fight his way out. He had the innate invisible sword Qi, 2 summoning grimoires, the Lamia lowly Little One Li and the barbarian Cao Shadow, the mysterious golden beast and the golden thorny flower, and even the golden seeking mouse and Hui Tai Lang. Would the journey to the demon's abyss really be a path of no return? No. Yu Yang had confidence in himself. As long as he didn't meet a Demon King level enemy, even if there were demon generals fighting one after another, he wouldn't be afraid. Leaving the shadow of the 10,000-year ancient oak tree, he looked at the sky full of stars. Yu Yang felt that he was so close to the sky, as if he could pluck the stars with just a stretch of his hand. When he looked again, he felt that it was so far away. Little bits of weak starlight. He didn't know how many millions of light years it came from. The universe, encompassing heaven and earth, encompassing all things, it was too mysterious. When his heart naturally emitted this kind of sigh, Yu Yang suddenly discovered that his spirit had entered a very strange and wonderful state. It was as if his heart had become extremely open, expanding infinitely, extending to the furthest reaches of the world. His body gradually disappeared, leaving only his soul, flying freely in the sky, expanding continuously, like a giant overlooking the myriad of rivers and mountains in the world. He was also like the Creator overlooking all things on earth, looking at the flowers, grass, and trees swaying in the wind, looking at the birds and beasts moving back and forth, looking at all kinds of incomparably huge life forms, forming an incomparably wonderful circle of life, circulating continuously. Yu Yang felt that after going through this kind of wonderful scenery of nature, he seemed to have understood some kind of indescribable mystery. But more than that, he was at a loss. He discovered that the more he understood, the more he realized that what he originally knew was just a drop in the ocean. And compared to the power of nature of all things in the world, he, who originally seemed to be very strong, seemed to be such an insignificant existence. Compared to the whole universe, he was just a small molecule in the millions of planets, like a drop of water in the ocean, nothing at all. A ray of light of wisdom rose up from his soul. In an instant, something formed in his body, like energy condensing into a ball, but it was different from the innate sword chi. When the 10,000-year-old ancient oak tree emitted waves of faint green light, it resonated with the ball of energy condensed in Yu Yang's body. Only then did Yu Yang realize that he had actually comprehended the heart of nature that he had been unable to touch before. The innate rankers of the world were definitely people who were most compatible with nature, because only by controlling the world could one control everything. Comprehending the heart of nature, this was equivalent to opening a door for Yu Yang on the innate great Tao. This was also a sign of a realm. When Yu Yang's heart of nature resonated with the light of the 10,000-year-old ancient oak tree, he was surprised to find that the formless existence of the ancient laws on his body had lessened a lot. Yu Yang quietly cultivated under the 10,000-year-old ancient oak tree for another day. Then he came to the Bloodwater Demon Swamp. After comprehending the heart of nature, Yu Yang had more confidence in his heart. This time, Yu Yang did not send out Hui Tai Lang, but let a phantom float into the Devil's Swamp, preparing to attack a young hydra. The female hydra that had lost an egg became very vigilant. Almost as soon as the phantom appeared, it immediately discovered it. The female hydra drilled out of the swamp and roared angrily. Immediately, the entire hydra family was in an uproar. When they discovered Yu Yang on the shore, they immediately surrounded and attacked him fiercely. "Welcome. I wish everyone a happy trip to the Devil's Abyss." Yu Yang first opened up a small teleportation scroll, then used a buff scroll worth 10 gold to make the entire teleportation light door 10 times bigger in 30 seconds. All the hydras that charged into the teleportation light door would immediately be teleported to the Devil's Abyss, landing at the original location that Yu Yang had secretly marked. A second later, Yu Yang, a mature male hydra, 2 half-mature hydra, and 2 young hydra were teleported to the ancient martial field of the Devil's Abyss at the same time. Yu Yang raised his head and suddenly discovered that there were a number of 1MO ghosts, led by more than 10 demon generals, staring at him in shock. Chapter 77. Only an idiot would fight against more than 10 demon generals. Moreover, there were still tens of thousands of monsters behind them. Yu Yang immediately rushed towards the nearest hydra whelp. He was prepared to hug one to his death, then summon his bronze grimoire. Under the protection of a shield, he would use a teleportation scroll to escape back to the 10,000-year ancient oak tree. In a situation where he could not attack, fighting a mature hydra alone was very strenuous. However, taking down a hydra whelp was not a problem. However, would the demon generals let Yu Yang leave as he wished? Almost as soon as Yu Yang moved, all the demon generals moved. Yu Yang discovered that the teleportation items in the Demon Abyss were different from those in the Soaring Dragon Continent. The warriors in the Soaring Dragon Continent mainly used teleportation scrolls, which needed to be unfolded and summoned with spiritual energy. Last time, he was busy running away, so he did not see it clearly. This time, Yu Yang saw it clearly. The black items that more than 10 demon generals threw at him at the same time were actually small black balls the size of fist. Before it could even touch a body, it would shatter soundlessly, turning into a black pillar of light. Within the range of the black pillar of light, all targets would be instantly teleported to the designated location. If Yu Yang was not greedy and insisted on hugging the hydra whelp, then with his skills, it would be very difficult for those small teleportation balls to hit him. However now, Yu Yang, who was tightly hugging the Hydra whelp that was still struggling and unwilling to surrender, found himself teleported to the battlefield of death again. Moreover, this time he did not need to face just one enemy, but 5 demon generals. After the 5 demon generals entered the battlefield of death, their hearts calmed down. They expected that this human male would not be able to leave alive, so they started to discuss how to trample on Yu Yang. Yu Yang could not understand the language of the demon abyss. Moreover, even if he could understand it, he did not have the time to care. The Hydra whelp in his arms struggled with all its might. Although it was a whelp and only had 3 heads, the body of the Hydra whelp was still bigger than a bull. Its 3 long necks were comparable to a giant python. The little Hydra's head was even bigger than the giant python's head. On top of it, there were even strange horns and cheek fins. Its mouth was full of razor-sharp teeth, biting randomly, causing Yu Yang to be flustered. Ha ha ha! When the 5 demon generals saw such a comical scene, they all held their bellies and laughed. They suddenly felt that this young human male wasn't attacking the demon abyss, but was instead being chased by the 9-headed monster all the way here. The only thing he didn't understand was how this kid had the teleportation scroll to the ancient battlefield. Could it be that he had come to the ancient battlefield before? The 5 demon generals even suspected that if they just stood by and watched, completely ignoring this young human, he probably would not be able to survive. Instead, he would be swallowed alive by the 9-headed monster. Among all the humans who had entered the demonic abyss, this brat was the weakest and most laughable one. He had never seen such a fool among the human martial artists. Yu Yang used his brute force and punched 108 times. With great difficulty, he finally knocked out all 3 of the little Hydra's heads. On the other side, the demon general was laughing so hard that he couldn't stand up straight. Human, are you trying to make us die of laughter? Compared to your strength, perhaps this method of making us die of laughter would be more effective. The tallest demon general stood up. He spoke the soaring dragon continent's common language fluently. When he opened his mouth, the other 4 demon generals laughed uncontrollably again. Can I surrender? When Yu Yang asked, the demon general opposite him burst into laughter, tears flowing down his face. Did this brat think that this was a tavern? In the battlefield of death, only one side could leave after death. Otherwise, even the demon king wouldn't be able to leave. The ancient law was supreme. The shortest and strongest demon general nodded his head seriously and said, I allow you to surrender, but before you die. Ha ha! Seeing that there was no other way, Yu Yang thought that the soaring dragon continent and the demon abyss were really mortal enemies. It was impossible for them to coexist peacefully. In a second, Yu Yang turned from a supporter of pacifism to a battle maniac. His philosophy had always been that if he could avoid fighting, he would avoid fighting. If he fought, he would take the opponent's life. Yu Yang summoned his bronze grimoire and summoned the thorny flower that was still digesting the demon king Ha-Exion's arm, letting it take root on the ground. Apprentice? Thorny flower? The 5 demon generals opposite him were dumbfounded. It was as if they had seen a lunatic. A novice apprentice actually dared to fight in the demon abyss? You can slowly prepare. When you are ready, then tell us. The tallest demon general said very generously. You can even choose the method of death. Dismemberment, hanging, drowning, burning. You can choose any one of them. Or you can think of a new and unique method of death. There won't be any problems. That's right. How should I write your epitaph? Write, be careful. My idiocy is contagious. Is that okay? The shortest and strongest demon general also had a serious look on his face. Honestly speaking, you are the first opponent that I have defeated without any sense of glory. The winged demon general couldn't help but sigh. I'm going to sleep for a while. Call me after you guys kill him. The demon general that was as fat as a demon worm simply lay down. Since you guys don't want to make a move, then let me do it. Towards humans, I have never been lenient. The demon general that was the thinnest and the only one that didn't wear a demon armor, but a strange tight-fitting black robe, stepped out from the crowd. A black aura rose from his withered face, and a red light flashed in his eyes. His demonic claws waved continuously, summoning a silver grimoire that was faintly emitting black aura. Then, he summoned a ball of red light from the silver grimoire. He muttered to himself. After a long time, the ball of red light let out a monstrous hissing sound, causing people's hair to stand on end. Yu Yang's eyes turned cold. He could feel the energy of this ball of red light exploding 1,000 times. If Hui Tai Lang pounced into the center of this ball of red light, he would definitely be blasted into pieces. Luckily, Yu Yang knew that the journey to the demon abyss was dangerous, so he didn't bring Hui Tai Lang to the demonic blood abyss. Instead, he left it under the 10,000-year ancient oak tree, letting it wait for Yu Bing and Inan. At the same time, he hoped that it could become a hidden chess piece for him. If anything went wrong by setting the teleportation target on the ground, then he would never be able to return to the demon abyss. So, for double insurance, Yu Yang also recorded a teleportation target on Hui Tai Lang's body. The red light exploded with a rumble, and a scorching hot gale spread rapidly. The shockwave shook Yu Yang's halo shield, causing it to tremble. From this, it could be seen how powerful it was. The ground cracked, and red lava gushed out from the ground. The black-robed demon general's skinny claws pressed lightly on the silver grimoire, and he chanted a summoning spell. A ball of fire was thrown onto the ground where the lava was gushing out, and immediately, a raging fire started to burn. The place where the lava was gushing out was not big. It was only 10 meters or so. But with the support of the fire, it quickly expanded, and in the end, it became a small stream of flames flowing everywhere. An elemental-type summoned beast? It actually had such power? Yu Yang couldn't help but frown. A demon general with a summoning grimoire was indeed difficult to deal with. Luckily, it seemed that the only demon general with a summoning grimoire was this skinny guy. The other four didn't. This black-robed demon general in front of him was a real enemy. Even if he showed weakness again and again, he still didn't look down on him. It seemed that this fellow would be a formidable opponent and would be the hardest to deal with among the 5 demon generals through the demon general's attacks. Yu Yang could discover a lot of things. These demon generals understood the weaknesses of human beasts very well. Human beasts were mainly beast-type or bird-type beasts. In this lava stream and raging fire on the ground, it was impossible for them to survive, let alone fight. If he brought Hui Tai Lang along, it would probably only be a decoration. On the contrary, many monsters in the demon abyss weren't afraid of fire at all, especially the monsters from the Hell Clan. Not only would the burning fire not kill them, it would instead make them feel like fish in water and would only increase their battle power. Let's go up and play too. Sometimes it's quite interesting to tease the little bugs. The tallest demon general summoned a ball of black flames onto his great sword and walked out unafraid. He took big strides into the raging fire and was not injured at all, only leaving a trail of burning footsteps. I hope this brat won't die too quickly. The shortest and strongest demon general waved his sharp axe, summoning a skull to strengthen the axe. At an extremely fast speed, that axe transformed into a terrifying skull axe. Its demonic eyes flashed with a green light, and a swarm of black dots that looked like flies continuously revolved around the skull axe. It looked disgusting and strange. The winged and bug-like demon generals behind him didn't move, and only watched the battle with smiles on their faces. They didn't think that this young human in front of them could defeat the 3 demon generals together. Furthermore, he was supported by the elemental beast lava and prison flame. A novice apprentice could only summon 1 beast. That brat had already summoned a thorny flower, so it was impossible for him to summon a second beast. Although the thorny flower was a plant-type beast that could restrain the demon abyss creatures, and it was a gold-ranked thorny flower, the thorny flower's level was too low. It looked like it couldn't be higher than level 2, and it was still in the process of growing. What use was this? Summoning the thorny flower was basically a deathbed struggle. Looks like I have to be careful. The thorny flower spit has always been quite powerful. The tallest demon general laughed mockingly. I say, old friend, look carefully. It's impossible for this thorny flower to spit. It's still digesting. I'm really curious. What did it eat? Why hasn't it finished digesting when the battle is about to start? The shortest and strongest demon general cooperated with the tallest demon general and attacked from all sides. Their original intention was to use their flame sword and skeleton axe to madly hack at Yu Yang's shield, intimidate his mind, and use this as a pretext to tease him. As for the thorny flower's attack power, they completely ignored it. Seeing these two fellows walking over carelessly with their swords and axes on their shoulders, with a condescending look, Yu Yang's lips suddenly curved into a mysterious smile. The black-robed demon general had been paying attention to Yu Yang's expression all along. He felt that this young human's performance was very clumsy, but he didn't reveal any fear or despair from beginning to end. This was too abnormal. Could it be that he was pretending to be weak on purpose? This thought flashed past the black-robed demon general's mind, especially when he saw the mysterious smile on Yu Yang's face. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. Without waiting for him to shout to warn his companions, Yu Yang had already dodged and flew out from the halo shield, streaking across like a meteor. No one could see Yu Yang's movements and figure clearly. When he appeared again, the two demon generals behind him had already fallen to the ground. What a good fertilizer! Yu Yang bent down and dragged the two demon generals, who had been stabbed in the heart and were bleeding profusely, into the halo shield. He quickly summoned two gold thorny flowers branches. The gold thorny flowers branches opened their huge mouths and forcefully swallowed the two demon generals, who were still struggling, along with the burning greatsword and the skeleton axe. The branches then extended their long roots and connected tightly with the main body, continuously transferring the energy obtained from the digestion to the main body. This unforeseen event was like a bolt from the blue, shocking the remaining three demon generals until they were dumbstruck. Those were two demon generals. How could they be swallowed by the thorny flower without any ability to resist? What exactly was going on? What did that young human do just now? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.